ना मेरे को रील्स का यही नहीं पसंद है. एक कोई गाने का अच्छा सा स्निपेट आएगा, आप उसको सुनोगे और फिर अगले पूरे 8-10-12 घंटे आपके दिमाग में वही चलता है.
Always, dude. Always. That's why I keep on listening to तेरे हवाले just for the first minute.
अभी आपने वो रांझना वाला चला के
Oh yeah.
अब मेरे दिमाग में डाल दिया है.
And can you imagine when it released, it was A.R. Rahman gibberish version that somebody had posted on YouTube. So I was like, the guy recognizes it.
मैंने रांझना 3 बार देखी है.
Okay.
हॉल में फॉर सम रीज़न. मतलब फॉर सम रीज़न नहीं, ऐसे तो मैंने ब्रह्मास्त्र भी 3 बार देखी है.
मैंने भी 3 बार देखी है.
आपने क्यों देखी 3 बार?
I had seen it 3 times because I wanted to do a spoiler-filled discussion on it. So, but the third time I wanted to see it just to see whenever a movie is popular and I review it, I like to see it on Sunday because Sundays with popular films is always a packed theater, and I want to see those reactions of what the audience is reacting to. So it becomes a little, you get a broader perspective of what the masses are reacting to, and you sometimes like reach a cocoon-like state of thinking, okay, this is what the world thinks. But when you go on Sunday, you realize it's just much more than that.
तब तक तो रिव्यू जा चुका होता है.
So, because I do spoiler-filled discussions on Sunday, it provides a broader perspective of what people are thinking and what people are reacting to. I've realized that a lot of people want to talk about how, as a community, one emotionally reacted to something. So, even though Brahmastra is like trolled and criticized so much, and deservedly so for its dialogue, but everyone still talks about that interval block. So, you know, and it's a rarity in Hindi cinema to have good staged interval blocks. Usually it's only for Tamil and Telugu cinema. So it was a rare occasion where you could finally see the Indian audience being like, whoa. Because even Pathan, for a big film like Pathan, it didn't have a good interval block.
I don't even remember what interval block
It's the betrayal of her burning the rope. Like, nobody really reacted to it. But I feel like Tamil cinema especially, they do it so well.
उसमें हम आता है. So the reason I watched Brahmastra 3 times was very excited कि कुछ ऐसी पिक्चर आ रही है. So went first. Next day I went home. My parents were like, चलो मूवी देखने चलते हैं. दूसरी बार चले गए. Third day my friends were like, चलो मूवी देखने चलते हैं. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days. First time I was very ऐसे खुश कि चलो ठीक है कुछ नया हो रहा है. Next time I actually listened to the dialogues. तब realize बहुत ही ऐसे weird है. Third time I was like, fuck everything, I'll just enjoy.
You know what I realized was that the second time that I saw it, so the first time I cringed through all the dialogues. Okay? And I realized that the reason for the frustration of most people was that it's a 8-year delayed film. And that's the dialogues that you approved. So that's what...
Probably they approved them 8 years ago. Yeah. Same with Avatar actually.
It becomes so dated in just the way people interact with each other. People are like, dude, this is not aged well. So I feel like that was the biggest frustration.
हाँ तो मेरे को Avatar ये Way of Water देखते हुए सेम रियलाइज हो रहा था. जितना वो bro कर रहे थे 2012 में कर रहे होंगे लोग bro अब नहीं कर रहे हैं.
Especially that character with
Loak,
the blonde hair. I could just not understand in him changing allies constantly or where he stands. And at one point of time, I realized that this is just a visual ride for you. Emotionally, though, it's a bit, I don't know, distant.
On the IMAX screen, it was beautiful.
Oh, it is beautiful, dude. I was hooked for that entire running time.
मैं 3 बार देखी है मैंने. Same reason.
Okay, I couldn't have it.
Same reason. For some reason I did.
Yeah.
All time 2 बार दिल्ली में, 1 बार बॉम्बे में IMAX screen पे जाके.
I haven't done Avatar. I haven't seen a lot of movies a lot of times, but I saw RRR I think 3 times.
RRR I did not see on the
big screen. And for Vikram, there's a Tamil movie called Vikram that I saw many times. I think 2 times, 3 times. But I guess I only repeat the movies just to see
spoiler wala videos banana.
Spoiler videos and how people are reacting to it. There is something magical about that packed theater, dude. Especially IMAX films. Some of those are insane. Even Guardians was so much fun recently.
A lot of fun.
So much fun in a packed theater and everyone was reacting.
Ant-Man was not.
Everything, for me, Ant-Man, even Doctor Strange, even though it has some crazy set pieces, it just didn't click, man.
The only time I would not go to an IMAX screen to watch a movie is if I'm watching, let's say, a Salman Khan film.
Okay.
Then I would want to go back to my hometown, find a single screen theater, go there and then watch it.
But you know, even if you saw this one on a single screen, किसी का भाई,
वो तो देखी नहीं मैंने, वो तो देखी नहीं है मैंने.
even a single screen is not being able to create that atmosphere because the movie is so devoid of anything.
I think he just wanted to get done with this film. कि 3 साल से बना रहे हैं, बना के निकाल देते हैं. टाइगर आ ही रही है, उसमें काम हो जाएगा.
Sadly, what people have said is that it is sort of Berozgar Yojana thing that happens.
I've heard this.
So you work with friends and family, give them a job, and you post through it.
Same with Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious, but you know, with Salman, with like movies like Jai Ho, movies like Dabangg 3, a lot of the movies, a lot of his close friends are cast, and a lot of actors who haven't been cast in movies for a long time. So he just coasts along, has a good time, is mainly the director, and chills.
पर आप तो रात में जिम जाते हो, तो आप तो कॉफी पी के जिम नहीं जाते होंगे.
So the first half of the day is the work day. So I started around 8 a.m. and by 2 or 3 I'm done. So during that work hour, I probably have 2 black coffees. And I'm okay till the evening. If I'm really exhausted, I'll have a short of pre-workout. If I'm not,
I can't do pre-workout.
You can't do pre-workout? Okay, but if I'm not, then I'm fine. Then I can coast along with 2 coffees.
So I've tried going to the gym in the evening. ठीक है, and अगर I need someone, मतलब मेरा एक दोस्त होता है, वो मेरे साथ यहीं पे रहता है, वो लॉयर है, तो वो शाम को फ्री हो जाता है, तो उसके साथ जिम जाया जाता था. Alone, I can't go to the gym in the evening.
Okay, that's one of the main reasons I have a trainer. So past 3 years, I have a trainer, and the reason why I love the evenings is so my gym like blasts music, okay, and they've got a DJ.
They've ordered in gym DJ.
Yeah, gym DJ, and he blasts the most craziest EDM music. And I've hung on to my playlist from 2012 to 15, 16. So he plays the best music, and my Haryanvi Jat friends are very okay with it. So, and it's packed, but it's like a full club vibe. So I can definitely zone in and just be like, go for it. Yes. Afternoons, I find it so tough when it's empty. I know it's like therapeutic when it's empty and it's like your space.
The machine is yours.
Yeah.
The trainers are working out as well.
But in the midst of it being so packed, I like that I can. My guy's gonna tell me what to do. He's gonna.
The trainer will ensure कि आपके लिए machine खाली है.
Oh yeah. Oh bro, it's such a thing. Thankfully, I've become friends with all the gundas and gangsters in my.
You were in the same gym for 3 years.
3 years, yeah. Since the pandemic.
3 साल same gym जाते हो तो सब आसपास के लोग दोस्त बन ही जाते हैं.
Yeah. But Noida is like, you should just make everyone your friends just to be sure.
How long have you been living in Noida?
Parents shifted in Noida in 99, 2000. We were in Munirka before that.
Munirka is again Delhi.
Near Vasant Vihar. And we've been there for a good 22 years now. Yeah.
How do you enjoy Noida?
Noida?
What are some things that you love, something that you don't love?
So, my schooling was in Delhi. So, Noida was, at least in my growing up years, was just about playing in the colony and chilling over there within those confines. But when we grew up, new malls had come up. So the entire thing was to go up the escalator and think about like what's happening here. And I remember Center Stage Mall had opened. It was like one of the first malls that had opened. Now it's called Wave Mall. And it's mostly like empty now. It has like meat shops and like...
Is this the one where IMAX hai?
No,
it's a new one. That's a new one.
That's a new one. So this one used to have one of the most popular clubs in the mid 2000s. It used to be called Elevate. Okay.
Elevate.
So
ELEVE8.
Yeah. And people used to come from Delhi to club there. So Noida used to be the place to like go clubbing. But as is what happens with like
all these clubbing.
No, the concept of we're gonna make Noida the new party place. Eventually it's Noida. So it doesn't really attract a very safe environment, I would still say, because what's happened is now if you go to Sector 18, which is like the clubbing and party place, they've opened a place called Gardens Galleria there, okay, which has all the pubs. And within the first week or 10 days of it opening, you had like a shooting, one guy had died. And so it's definitely not safe. But I would still say that, I go for movies in Noida only, and it provides the basics. What's happened with that big mall opening, DLF Mall of India, is that
it's mostly khali.
It's mostly khali, but at least you have your big chill. You've got your, regular restaurants which you can hang out in. You can shop in your apparel stores as well. But if I tell you, I'll just tell you of very indie places in Noida. Like Tea Shop used to be like the place. There's a very old couple that opened a tea stall near like an army residential area, and it suddenly like attracted a huge 16 to 18 demographic.
Yeah. But there's also a film city in Noida.
So all a lot of news channels are there in Film City, and some TV production companies as well. But it's not sexy in the sense that area. It's you go over there, it's nothing like the streets of Andheri West, where it's one production company after the other, or you see Yash Raj, then you see T-Series. There's something exciting about it that a Gadi will come in and you'll be like, who's coming? There's nothing like that in Film City.
There's no films happening here, or is it?
No, that's the prospect that a lot of people are looking at, that UP is going to be the next film city after Bombay, but I doubt Mumbai. But I feel like it's doubtful. Also, what I've realized is that I was set up in Delhi for school. I was then I went to boarding school in Dehradun. So I never really hung out in Noida. But even Noida people will tell you that अगर वो घूमते हैं कहीं तो नोएडा के बाहर जाते हैं, DND cross करते हैं.
DND cross करके इधर ही आते हैं. Yeah, that's true. Only thing you get in Noida is bigger, cheaper apartments.
Well, apartments probably, yes. I remember when we shifted, it was a jungle. So 99, 2000, nothing had come up over there. So property was really cheap. So we had come early. And even if you look at right now, in 20 minutes, you're in Delhi. So that way, it's like very convenient. But Greater Noida is another beast altogether, which is another 21 kilometers on the other side. And from there to go anywhere, it's
Greater Noida ban raha hai na airport.
Yeah, that's the selling point, right? That Greater Noida for the past 15 years, before the residential collapse happened over there, where everybody siphoned off money and nobody was getting their properties anymore. The big selling point was that this is going to be the new Gurugram. You're going to have the airport close by. You're going to have all the pubs and clubs over here.
That did not happen.
And now, we've got some property over there. And when we go over there, it's one building. And then you see 7 buildings that are just empty, hollow. And you're just looking at like a very post-apocalyptic, frame. So it's rather scary. But it hasn't shaped up as they envisioned, definitely.
I think Gurgaon in that aspect
has huge office population, huge work.
Noida also used to have. I remember my friend used to work in.
Noida still does. Noida has a huge.
Greater Noida nahi hai.
So if you go the way from Noida to Greater Noida has a lot of corporate buildings. So there is a huge working population that does come to Noida. Especially if you look at 62 sector, there are a lot of like educational companies, a lot of automobile companies. So that way there is a lot of workforce that comes to Noida, but definitely Gurgaon is...
I remember वो जो आपका wave वाला IMAX है, जो metro के पास है, I think sector Logics. So me and my flatmate college में जब हम थे, हम लोग वो देखने गए वहाँ पे, because we wanted to see Logan in a bigger screen, and Select IMAX was not a thing then. तो हम गए, हमने रात में 11 बजे का शो बुक किया, हम यहाँ से चले तो गए मेट्रो से की तरह पहुँच गए वहाँ पे. जब हम वापस आ रहे हैं रात में 1 बजे, वहाँ पे सिर्फ सुनसान, कैब भी नहीं मिल रही है. किसी तरह हमको कैब मिली है, और उसके बाद रियलाइज करा नोएडा तो नहीं जा रहा हूँ मैं पिक्चर देखने.
It's still better now. I would still say 10 years ago it was probably not that advanced, but I feel like Noida now has picked up really well. But I would still say with spending like 4-5 years in Mumbai and spending most of my time in Delhi, if I ever wanted to hang out with friends, it's another ball game in terms of safety, especially for women. I can't even imagine because we were just talking about the love-hate relationship we have with Bombay.
Yeah.
I totally understand why women find it so liberating or safe. It's
a different environment, different culture altogether.
No, you're looking at friends of mine who leave in an auto at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. and being conditioned to grow up in Delhi, you are so worried constantly of how a person's going back home and keeping their location on and telling them where everything's going. So it is definitely, I understand why a lot of girls especially fall in love with that city.
अभी कुछ तो हुआ था. अभी I was in Bombay जब last में था, तो मैं ना किसी ऑटो में जा रहा था. And me and a friend of mine, we were talking about Urfi Javed. ठीक है. And then that person randomly, he switched gears so ऐसे एक तरफ वो बात करता है कि हाँ उर्फी जावेद इज़ आई मीन कुछ अपशब्द बोले उसने उर्फी जावेद को, फिर उसने बोला कि नहीं पर ये हो सिर्फ मुंबई में सकता है, मुंबई आपको ये फ्रीडम देता है कि आप ऐसा कर सकते हो, ऐसे क्रिएटिव बन सकते हो, जो आपको करना है कर सकते हो. एंड मैं और मेरा दोस्त ऐसे सोच रहे हैं, इसने तारीफ़ करी, इसने बुराई करी, ये क्या कहना चाह रहा था. But
that itself is a dichotomy where somebody obviously because of probably their own conditioning and the way they've been brought up are already like screw what she's doing.
But it's Mumbai.
Yeah, it's Mumbai. She's so independent.
बहुत fascinating था मेरे देखने के लिए.
She's doing her own thing, yeah. And I feel like a lot of people have, she I think hits on the nerve of people not expecting it, whatever's going to happen. And I feel like the moment you start questioning whether I'm okay with this or not, it suddenly becomes a...
I mean, Urfi Javed is a living, breathing internal dilemma.
Yeah. Especially if you look at it in India.
Yeah.
Morally, the way people think.
अभी आपका कौन सा मतलब you were in Bombay? अच्छा ठीक है, context for the audience also. You've been in Bombay, have a space there for the last 3 years now.
Yeah, so I was there in 2018. And then the pandemic happened. So I let go of that place. And when things calmed down a bit, then I got a new place over there.
Where?
So I'm in Bandra.
Okay.
And have been there.
ऐसे लगता नहीं नोएडा में रेंट दे के और फिर लगता है मतलब नोएडा में रह के जगह देख के फिर बैंड्रा में रेंट दे रहे हो रहते भी नहीं उतनी.
This is going to be for everyone who's born and brought up in Delhi, NCR, anything, you're spoiled. So coming to Mumbai is definitely a shock in terms of space, in terms of being okay with the amenities that you have around you. And I'm saying this for even a really middle class child who's grown up in Delhi NCR. I am definitely speaking from a privileged lens also, where I stayed in a apartment with my family. But when you go there, I realized that when I was staying with a friend of mine, I had come out of the shower and I was like, okay, so where do I put the towel? Where's the balcony? It's like, there's no balcony here. So even...
where do you put the...
They have towel racks, right? Achha. So they put it in the drawing room. And like even Shah Rukh Khan would tell you, yaar, ki, even like the most middle class child had something to look at outside, and you've got jalis everywhere in Mumbai, and it definitely is tough to get accustomed to. But my issue was not even that with Mumbai. My issue was food mainly. Food, in my opinion, still is something that you take some time over there to seek out for. Okay, these are the places that I'm going to really seek out for great food. I feel like Delhi people are too spoiled.
I always say this, Delhi has probably the best food in the world.
Best food. And it's become a meme of sorts now, Delhi, Mumbai food, whatever. There's no debate about it. But I definitely realize that a lot of people consider sort of the liberated feeling that they have with Mumbai. And the people definitely make up for it. Mumbai people do... no matter how much you grow up in Delhi NCR, people are still kind of nosy, I feel. Mumbai is definitely horse blinkers on, do your thing. And that can also become a bit irritating.
I think it's very... I mean, I personally am not a fan of that feeling.
Yeah.
I was in Bombay, I think about 2 or 3 साल बाद Mumbai गया था अभी December में, and then another trip in Jan. And then I was supposed to have another trip, but उसमें फिर मेरा flight के नाम किसी ने गलत लिखा था तो मैं उसमें plane में नहीं चढ़ पाया फिर. But again, so both of the times, the thing that I realized was that the city is too fast.
It is fast.
It is too fast. And why I am not ready to deal with that in my life.
It is super individualistic.
So when you're in Bombay, how does your work day look like?
It's the same as it is in Delhi. I have wake up around 7ish. My working day starts with curating and ideating whatever that day should look like. Write a script, talk about whatever I want to talk about, and by 3 or 4ish, I'm done. Unless I have an interview lined up or I have a meeting lined up, which is usually my Bombay setup is pitch meetings in the evening. And these pitch meetings go from everything to proving your credibility, to interview an actor, to pitching to a streaming platform of a non-fictional show, or other things that we're trying to do on a parallel basis with the YouTube content running. But by 4ish, I'm mostly done. Yeah. Especially on review days also, by 4ish, I'm done. And then it's workouts in the evening. If I can go for dance class in the evening, then that. And
you've been living this life. मेरे को last time भी याद है आपका ऐसा
Yeah.
कुछ routine था.
yeah.
You've been living the same life for the last however many years.
Probably 6-7 years. It's been the same. And I think the reason for me carrying on doing the thing is, one, I absolutely feel privileged to do what I'm doing. And second is, I think the reason for a certain level of sanity or why I've not become jaded is because of this regular routine. The moment I have a sense of, at the end of it, what is it? You need a purpose, right? What is this life? By the end of it, you're like, what are you doing? You're talking about movies, right? You're not changing anything. You're almost like a drop in the ocean. You're not really affecting anything. But over a period of time, the community building has really been beautiful, I would say. And in that sense, I feel very privileged that even though it's been almost like a regularity with how I live my life and how the content's going up, there's still almost an organic building of people who love movies, who are constantly talking on the channel. So I feel like there's not been a sense of boredom that's set in now, which I feel usually happens in content creation within 4 years.
It happened with me. That is why I left movie reviews entirely.
No, we were talking about that. I remember we were talking about the anxiety that comes on Fridays and Saturdays.
Exactly.
But what's become a little crazy is that it's become a world of binaries now. So you either love the film or you hate the film. And I feel like the discourse, which usually had a sense of nuance at one point of time, it's become not so much. So me criticizing Pathaan goes out of the window because I conclude the video by saying that it's a great watch in the theaters. Okay?
So the nuances.
So people are like, fuck you for saying that. The concept of me giving you 10 reasons why it doesn't work doesn't matter because you concluded that way.
Right.
Similarly, with like a lot of the films that are getting pushed by the government now, it's if you don't side with it, you're
Anti-national.
an enemy of the state, and if you like it, then
You're a propaganda machine.
Propaganda machine or true patriot.
True patriot.
Yeah, so
True
it's
patriot also.
and you're reviewing movies. Come on, like so I feel like a lot of people have become really it's become their purpose, what the movies are saying. And when you make that your identity, that's where I feel like people lose why they started initially.
Yeah.
I see a lot of reviewers who it'll blow your mind when you see their initial journey versus how they are now. You transition to become, I don't know, like
some extreme
version or something that you never envisioned. And a lot of people want me to comment on these things, want me to comment on like new policies coming out. It's like, that's not my job. And a lot of the times when the movie criticism has a political motive or is deconstructing anything socially, my comments are packed with things that have nothing to do with the movie. Okay. And the reason why I don't reply back to those comments is because that's not my job,
Your job is to talk about the movie.
Yeah, and it's a dicey situation. It's a very muddled situation where people want you to have a take on what's happening around you
Beyond the movie.
and then they criticize you for not sticking to what your portfolio was. So it's a little...
So I can understand how a routine or some regularity in life would be able to keep you sane in this.
And distance, you know, it's
think distance is
important. I feel like the moment, especially what I realized when I started Twitter probably during the pandemic, is you can get so consumed by these fan wars and the case of people looking at you as, say, like I get called a... what's the term? It's a Librando, okay?
Okay.
And what they do is they like morph your pictures, they put you in memes, and they do all of that, which is part of the social media game. So I don't hate on it at all. But the moment you make that your everyday consumption of social media, now you'll start replying to all of them. So what you should realize is you do your job, go in and out,
I'll tell you
and
what I do.
they have every right to criticize you, malign you, do whatever they want. So I become, I think because of the regularity, I've created a healthy relationship with social media now.
I think Twitter is where you are still thoda dilemma mein kya karna chahiye.
No, Twitter I'm perfectly fine in terms of the distance. YouTube is where I start creating a sense of like, oh, they're not happy with this video. So I probably need some course correction.
But
Twitter is like, they'll go for you.
हाँ, but आपका खुद का consumption type Twitter पे होता होगा ना कि आप scrolling Twitter.
But no, Twitter for me is give your opinion, get out. Okay? YouTube is something where I'll still post the video and reply back to the comments, which, and I've noticed YouTube comments still have a sense of nuance in their discussion. At least under my comments, I'm so privileged that way. There is a genuine discussion that happens in my comment section when it's come to movies, unless it's a
heavily politically
charged film, then it becomes something else. Yeah.
तो ट्विटर पे मैं क्या करता हूँ? I use Twitter for 2 reasons. एक तो मैं बहुत heavily mute करता हूँ लोगों को across Instagram and Twitter.
Okay. Oh yeah, I do mute some people.
And I purposely make ऐसे थोड़ा ऐसे charged tweets वगैरह just because engagement is very good. उसको करके म्यूट करके बंद कर दो, नोटिफिकेशन ही नहीं आएगा.
So I mute people who are saying the same thing again and again.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you, like I muted an actor who's a critic now and who was on reality TV also because he says the same thing again and again. And it's crazy. Vedant, who was a joke probably 8-10 years ago in discourse, in normal discussions, you're like, oh my God, who the fuck is going to take him seriously? They're the celebrities now. And people...
I am not even kidding. My friends genuinely watch his reviews for the reason because they think kuch to sachai bol raha
But he has no, you know, everybody has this concept of that he has the real inside knowledge. He does not know shit and no one gives a shit. But you know, what I've realized is the more inflammatory you are
and the more exaggerated
you are, the more attention you get. You know what I realized was the moment the audience is emotionally charged and you tap into it and you pander to it, they'll welcome you with open arms. But that period stays for a month. And you know, when the controversy happened during the pandemic, a lot of these celebrities propped up, who made it their life goal that they're going to expose the film industry. Their cycle stayed for those 3 months. Now they're nowhere to be seen because no one's interested in what they have to say. So I feel like the content that's driven by fueling the hate that already exists, it has a very small cycle.
And it's catering to a very small audience also. Because most people do not have time, I think.
But I feel like that audience laps it up in huge numbers in that period, and then forgets about you very easily. Yeah. You know, you can look at it as many of the actors who say tap into the same, they expect that because they've tapped into that mindset, they'll come swarming into the theatre for their films, and their movies have tanked so miserably. You've realized that this is not the way to engage the audience. You know, distance and a lack of saturation on social media is probably the best route.
I think last couple of days ago only Shah Rukh, I think, I don't know if he came out and said this or someone...
Oh, bullshit, he came out.
मतलब किसी ने बोला था कि
I have such a strong stance.
क्योंकि तो बोला था कि शाहरुख has declined to give interviews to media about his personal life वगैरह वगैरह.
A particular journalist said that I spoke to him and he said that he is not going to give any public interview anymore because he'll get ahead of himself and emotional, so he'll start talking about his family matters publicly, which he doesn't want to, which I think is a bunch of bull crap.
That I did not read. मैंने बस ये पढ़ा था कि शाहरुख has declined to give any bites to media.
But the point is, the same media that was going after his family was saying that it's a drug-filled industry, was saying that, you know, his son is a deadbeat, are the ones who are like saying, oh my God, look at the dignity and grace with which he's held himself. It's such hypocritical BS, and I'm so...
Whatever gets clicks.
I'm so blown away with how they get away with it.
They don't. I mean, they do.
They do legally.
They do legally.
They get away with running a campaign on primetime TV for a good month against an individual and a family and an industry. And then 3 months later, you're suddenly like, oh my God, he's such a great man for, you know, keeping his silence, taking the legal route, going by the system. It's like, but you were the same people, dude. I am so blown away. And you know, what I've realized is that ये वो एक ऑक्यूपेशन डेफिनेटली है जहाँ पर वजूद ज़मीर ये सब नहीं है बहुत ज़्यादा डूड न्यूज़ मीडिया मैन and your social media has certain players who do the same, you know, lap onto it, create the news, tweet as much as you can about it, and change your stance within 3 months and act as if nothing happened.
But why do you think that is? Is it just because उसपे numbers आते हैं, audience मिलता है? I don't think, I mean, there might be some money involved as well, but that money can't be इतना सारा पैसा for everyone at least.
See, I don't think that's financially driven. Financially driven definitely for news channels, for clicks, because they're like, okay, we get as many eyeballs as possible.
Yeah.
With social media, what I've realized is that we've definitely become accustomed to the dopamine that we get with that engagement, and if it is at the cost of saying something that you don't individually feel, so be it. We were just talking about ethics, right?
Yeah.
You know, I know that you can run a Twitter page for 4 to 6 tweets, make around 50,000 for those 4 to 6 tweets. You're fine, dude.
Yeah.
And that's just supplementary income. Yeah.
Actually.
So you might as well do it. That's a lot of people's
opinion.
You know, opinion. And I get definitely approached by a lot of PR companies to talk about certain actors, to talk about certain movies, even when I've not liked it. And you can easily say yes, bro. And I'm talking about financial opportunities that are way more than what I've just said. But eventually, long term, it is about credibility, right?
Yeah.
And that's lacking, I feel like, in a very saturated space. Or and people recognize real eventually.
Yeah, people recognize
so you can ride the wave and be like, oh, dude, I made such a good amount of money in this short span of time, but I don't think it's worth it at all.
Yeah. I think the last when we spoke on the podcast, we were talking about a few reviewers वगैरह जो करते हैं ये काम, who will just go out and be as extra as possible.
Yeah.
From what I have noticed is I don't think any of those guys are doing as well as they were 3 years ago, or their opinions, I think except for one, वो जो फिल्मी इंडियन है, उसके अलावा I don't think there is anyone. I think she also has toned down her stance actually. उसके last 2-3 videos देखे थे मैंने.
Okay, I haven't seen her videos, but what I see is because she has a big audience, she's tapped in. You know what's sadly happened with film discourse on YouTube is that the discourse now is about the financial performance of the film versus the storyline
or how good a movie
it is. So you'll get more clicks on the Kerala story box office performance versus
the Kerala story
its review. And what's happened now is the discussion around, say, a Prabhas movie, an Adi Purush, say, for example, is less about how it gets Valmiki's original text and adapts it. And it'll be more about what is the budget,
700 crore,
what is the acting fees. And, you know, you have to understand to tap into that algorithm because you want to be a part of the same discourse, but make sure that your content is not about the finances, but it's more about the movie. But people are too involved with the financial performances.
I don't blame people anywhere because आज की तारीख में if I am to decide if a movie is worth watching in the theater or not, I think I personally would decide कि इस मूवी ने और लोगों ने पैसे दिए नहीं दिए इस पिक्चर देखने के लिए.
But see, like, you can't decide that on a Friday, right?
हाँ, you can't decide on day one.
Yeah. So what happens is, say a movie like an action hero comes, okay? It's a fun film. It does a business of 10 crores. So you're like, obviously it's crap. But you know, when you find out, recognize it a bit, you're like, okay, this was a fun film.
Oh, it was a fun film. I watched on Netflix. It was a beautiful movie.
Yeah, and you see it for many films that after the pandemic just have not done well.
But they're good movies.
The good movies, it just doesn't interest the audience for that big cinema experience. And I've realized with the comments also, it's too expensive, man.
Watching a movie is an expensive. Watching a movie is an expensive affair now.
Especially imagine a father or a mother taking their children. You're
5,000 रुपया खर्चा है.
Oh, easily you're spending 3 to 4K. Easily. So it's become so expensive, so you better make the money worth. So that's why these big event films are working right now.
It's a vicious cycle now.
It is, dude.
My parents wanted to watch. My parents did not want to watch किसी का भाई किसी की जान. I told them कि चलो देख के आता है, मजा आएगा. They like कि नहीं हमें नहीं देखनी. 1 महीने में उस पर किसी ना किसी OTT पे आई जाएगी. I'm like कि हाँ ठीक है, okay, makes sense.
No, dude, it's insane. But you know what's happened is they've especially if you look at the Telugu audience, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, they've still held on to the theater viewing. It's a little more economical for them also. But a lot of their actors have stayed exclusive to just being in theaters. You know, I was watching an old, I just posted a interview compilation yesterday.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were talking about how Ranbir Kapoor, when he was sitting with AIB, he was talking about how he didn't want to transition to do streaming shows because he said that it takes away from the audience that he's already motivating for the theaters. So why would they want to see him in theaters if he's easily accessible? And people were writing, well, he's such a boomer, he doesn't get it. But
he does get it
now.
Yeah, उसने करा ना business.
And actors are struggling to motivate audiences to come to theaters because they're like, we anyway see you in this series.
We anyway see you making reels with every second creator.
So imagine when that aura goes away, why would an audience pay for you to see you on the big screen? And I feel like especially like actors like Akshay Kumar really suffered because of the same. Is because they were available on streaming every 2 months and the movies weren't those big event films that people could really go out for.
In fact, I think Akshay Kumar se meko yaad aa raha hai. Prithviraj was the movie which was supposed to be a big film. It was supposed to be an event film. But it was just a dud. I mean, the movie was not good as well.
The movie was not good. But what happens also is what was advertised as work ethic almost gets lost in it not being essentially what an artist should do.
Yeah, it is routine. It's not work.
Exactly. So you're an engineer who's going to build a building in a stipulated time and then get out.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of timeline is something that I feel like artists especially detest. When, you know, like a PR company comes like, make us reel, which will go viral.
Yeah,
1 week, you know.
Go viral.
And like, no sir, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like an artist's process is something also that a lot of actors, a lot of audiences recognize. So when they saw Prithviraj's visuals, they saw Akshay Kumar. They couldn't see Prithviraj.
Yeah.
And you know, when you see, say a Ranveer is doing an animal, okay?
It's so different.
There is a...
Same for Shamshera also. I think
Shamshera,
is a different thing.
There is a curiosity of what's gone into that film or that look. And Amir Khan also, the reason why people used to be so excited about his films
because it take 3 years to make a movie, right?
3 years to make a movie, and there's genuine curiosity of what this character is. It doesn't really look like what he's already done.
Yeah.
And I feel like people got lost in the span in, I think in 2022, I think Akshay Kumar had like 6 movies. So people
There's
just...
a new Akshay Kumar movie either on the theater or on the screen.
Yeah, and people just got tired with that saturation, you know. And I feel like you're so bang on about social media presence, dude. You can't keep on posting reels. People are so over it.
Not even reels, just being accessible. Yeah, the reason I'm still fascinated with Shah Rukh Khan is because I don't see him making reels. No, वो 3 महीने में एक बार अगर आस के सार के करेगा तो मैं जाके देख रहा हूँ.
Yeah. That's his PR and position.
If he's just accessible every time, then I wouldn't care.
No, that has to exist. You know, like a reason why Ajit Kumar or a Talapati Vijay in Tamil Nadu, the reason why they have such bumper openings is because they're barely on social media. Vijay just joined social media. Ajit Kumar is traveling the world in his bike, living his life, So, that kind of aura exists.
But I think that can only exist for, let's say, the next 5 years when these stars are probably gonna be done. Ab jo naye log aa rahe hain, the newer people, if we ignore a Tom Cruise or a Shah Rukh Khan, what is a new age actor supposed to do? If they go to an OTT, they get typecasted as an OTT actor. If they make a movie, they're probably not gonna do well because उनको कोई देखने नहीं जाना चाहता. अभी कल परसों ही मैं देख रहा था ट्विटर पे, Kartik Aaryan has now got 12 years in the industry apparently. It's been 12 years since Kartik Aaryan debuted. But Kartik Aaryan की last movie कौन सी आई थी वो? T-Series के साथ वाली. हाँ, did not do.
So it's a terrible film. That's one of the main reasons why.
See, Bhool Bhulaiyan 2 also was a terrible film.
See, but I'll tell you the reason why Bhool Bhulaiyan works is one, it was just before the pandemic had finished. The Omicron wave was finished. So people were
right place, right time.
Right place, right time. People were looking for that theatre experience. An already popular franchise. Tabu absolutely killed it in the film. So there were saving graces in the movie. The reason why Shehzada doesn't work at all is because the original source material is so specific to... So it's a movie with Allu Arjun and Trivikrams made it. It's so specific to their tonality, their humor. It doesn't really translate well in the Hindi language.
And makes sense.
It was again Karthik tapping into being a pan-Indian star versus doing what his strengths are, which is just being the quirky guy who hangs around.
So here's the movie that he did for Netflix, Dhamaaka. That was a nice movie.
I found it okay because I'd seen the original one. But I feel like a lot of people respect him more when he does try a dhamaka, or he's coming out with a movie with Kiara Advani, which is going to again tap into sort of a more emotional role. I feel like people respect that more than just doing a popular franchise or just doing the same Love Ranjan type of roles.
But मेरे को अच्छा लगा. मेरे को पता ही नहीं था वो है उसमें, ये रणवीर वाली नई पिक्चर में. जब वो आया तो मेरे को अच्छा लगा था. मैं तो प्लेन में बैठ के देख रहा था उसको. बढ़िया लगी मेरे को वो मूवी. It was a fun, nice, quirky movie. Which only a Love Ranjan can do, to be very honest.
And people have stopped having fun also. I've realized that, people have become so like, like the biggest discourse about Tu Jhuti Main Makar was that she eventually wanted a house of her own. Right?
Yeah.
Why didn't you give it to her? Eventually, somebody else like de na. Yeah. But in the end, they're staying in the same house. You're like, what? There's not even a solution. So I get it.
So it's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie.
I wish I'd seen it.
But I struggled with the first half, I have to say.
देखो मैं तो हवाई जहाज में बैठा हुआ था, मेरी 8 घंटे की फ्लाइट थी. I needed to pass time. तो मेरे लिए वो 2.5 घंटे, 3 घंटे was a lot of fun. Had I watched it in the theatre, I probably would have with the first half as well.
No,
I was just happy seeing the Delhi का location.
Yeah, Delhi location.
वो अच्छा लगा मेरे को. Cyber Hub, World Mark, वो सब देख के मेरे को थोड़ा अच्छा लग रहा था बस.
I just felt that Love Ranjan has just a very similar way of delivering dialogues from his characters, and they're almost breathless to the point of they keep on talking like this, and then they can't even stop when they're talking. So you're like, bro, say chill maro.
But it does make movies that work for a lot of
people love it. People go on dates and watch those movies. A younger demographic loves those movies.
And he's the only one doing them. और कोई बना ही नहीं रहा ऐसी picture है, is it?
Only one.
है ना?
Only one in the Hindi market at least.
Yeah. Because I think Sonu ki Titu ki Sweetie also did well. Yeah, I like the callbacks also that he had to his previous movies.
All his movies do well, and a lot of the audience from the metropolitan areas like hate him. For his
for his opinion, the way he portrays people, मैं समझ सकता हूँ.
And even socially, like they consider him to be a woman hater or whatever through his movies.
थोड़ा toned down तो हो गया है वो.
Toned down, definitely.
You watch the first and second प्यार का पंचनामा, you'll realize he's toned down a lot.
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah,
होनी चाहिए ऐसी movies. I mean, if there's too many of them, then also it's bad.
What I realize is, what do you want? Okay, there's a movie called Bheed that comes out. It's about the pandemic.
Okay.
It's about the labor class being shunned away from cities and walking back to their houses, which was a reality. Yeah. No one saw that film. It did like 3 crores or something in its lifetime.
Oh.
So, you're talking about having movies like, say, a Kerala Story that does 200 crores. Okay? And on the other side of the spectrum, you have a Bheed. So, people eventually don't know. They don't know what works.
No, you just have to keep trying.
Bro, from the lineup of films that Shah Rukh was coming with, people said Pathan's going to do the worst.
Okay. But it did.
But it did 1,000. It's insane. So a lot.
It is now the highest grossing Hindi movie.
Hindi film. Nobody expected it. It's definitely right place, right time. 4-year hiatus. It's a lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
So it works. But nobody envisioned it.
What do you think of the YRF spy universe?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's one of the main reasons why people are excited about Hindi films. No matter how much you crap on it, it's the biggest franchise the Hindi films have now.
Cop, Rohit Shetty Cop universe.
Bro, but Rohit Shetty Cop universe also has become the Cop universe. Like, I mean, I feel like they also force I don't know, yaar.
I think the difference is कि ये spy है तो उसमें आप थोड़ा suspension of disbelief ज़्यादा कर सकते हो.
No, I'll tell you. The Rohit Shetty Cop universe is great. With Singham and Simba, the thing is they're all remakes. Okay?
Even Simba is a remake?
Simba is a remake of a Telugu film called Temper with Junior NTR.
Oh,
okay.
ठीक है, okay.
Singham is a remake of a Tamil film with Surya. Singham 2 is also a remake.
Oh.
So, the reason why a lot of people across India love the YRF spy universe more than
because it's something original.
New, it's something good.
Let's not say original, but it's something
It's
new.
not original. Yeah. The template's been done everywhere.
But I loved अभी Mission Impossible के trailer पे लोग कह रहे हैं कि उन्होंने पठान जैसी copy करे हैं. I loved it. I mean, there are a few similar frames, but I loved it.
They even compared there's an entire compilation of seeing the influence of Pathan from different films. And it's like scene to scene copies of whatever you see. But the point is that the concept of Shah Rukh and Salman being together, people are sold. Yaar. You have to realize that it's the perfect blend of nostalgia and style that people want right now.
So when I watched Pathan for the first time, so interval के बाद ना, the second half was before Salman's entry.
Yeah.
So select वाले theater में कुछ तो glitch हुआ. There was a disync between the video and the audio.
Okay.
So it played for 10 minutes. उसकी सलमान की entry हो गई, सब हो गया. And उसके बाद उन्होंने movie रोक दी. And people were fine with the sync not being in place as long as they were enjoying. तो वो आए select का staff आया, उन्होंने बोला नहीं हम दोबारा से चला रहे हैं. And then people cheered louder when it happened for the second time.
Too good. And bro, you're looking at these moments. Yeah. The entire point of the spy universe is that communal viewing where you're like, dude, after Karan Arjun, they're coming together. You're like, dude. And I realized that, the what's hated upon is, and what's not appreciated enough, I feel like, is the dialogue bazi that exists in those films.
Yeah.
It is reminiscent of what Salim Javed did with Amitabh Bachchan in the 70s.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people are not understanding is, it is a callback to that cinema, rather than in wanting to impress you with something unique right now. It is Shah Rukh Khan being a orphan who was left in the theater, who doesn't have a religion and wanted to dedicate his life to the country. It is poetic in that way. Yes, of course, John is in a white chaddi, yaar, and it's fun to say. But, these are some elements that are not appreciated enough. And I feel that Tiger 3, you'll just see, people are going to go mad, dude.
They have to. I'm very excited to Tiger 3.
It's going to be insane.
अभी दिवाली पे नहीं आ रही वो?
No, it's going to be a little later than Diwali, I think.
I thought Diwali पे आने वाली. मैं तो बहुत excited है दिवाली वाले दिन सबको लेके जाएंगे टाइगर दिखाने.
It's going to be crazy. And that's why I feel like, the Rohit Shetty Cop universe is a little less hyped than this one.
I think Singham 3, when it comes out with that tease and Suryavanshi, I think that would do very
It'll do great, dude.
I don't know what happened with Circus. Or was it not just a good film? I haven't even seen it.
It's probably one of the worst films of 2022, dude. Bro, imagine my dedication. I was in London. And Friday, Circus आ गई.
अब O2 गए थे देखने या फिर भाई कहीं सेंटर?
I went to a very shady theater. And Desis were there. And it's so bad, dude. It's to the point, it's a remake of a Gulzar movie. Okay? And imagine you go from the tonality of a Gulzar film to a slapstick Rohit Shetty film. It was one of the worst experiences, man. And I remember when the interval happened, the Desis there were, chale, bahut ho gaya, bahut. And the integrity of anyone doing film reviews is that you stay till the last minute.
You have to.
Yeah, and it was terrible, dude. And I think also Rohit Shetty probably needed it because there was almost a sense of...
You could sense it in the movie?
No, you could sense that in the promotions of the film where he was boasting about having a connection with the mass audience that a lot of people from Bandra and Andheri don't. And you realize that nobody gave a shit about the movie, and it was because it was a terrible film. And I think he got ahead of himself in thinking that if it's
whatever he does, it'll work.
Yeah, it'll work. And it just
I can understand he gave Art now 100 crore movies.
Yeah, man. No, he's one of the most consistent, successful directors Hindi cinema has. But it was, I didn't laugh a single time. And I even, like, I'm doing a video tomorrow on Ranveer Singh. Because I feel like he's had a very underwhelming last year. He did 83 and then he did Jayesh Bhai Jordan.
It was wrong place.
And then Circus. So he's done 3 films which have not worked back to back. And I feel like the saturation on social media and appearances with other things also don't help really.
83 was a good movie. I don't think it had an audience.
It didn't have an audience. I think that's one of the things. Also, what I realized in retrospect of watching it again was I don't think they captured the cricket really well. I saw it again and
I've only seen
it has such abrupt cutaways and it's not really dramatic when you're watching the movie. You know the eventual outcome of winning, but the tension that existed in a cricket match like Lagan or Chak De India, it just didn't exist over here.
That tension was there in Dhoni.
Dhoni, it was there. I agree.
I mean, उन्होंने बहुत smart चीज करी. उन्होंने कहा हम cricket shoot ही नहीं करेंगे, हम सारी footage पे use कर लेंगे. That was very smart.
Yeah.
Because I think Dhoni and Azhar came out around the same time. So I watched Dhoni first, and then I went on to watch Azhar, and I realized कि उसमें cricket में जो उन्होंने किया है वो Azhar में तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं हो पाया है.
Azhar is also another. Azhar's more about his romance and the match.
I can understand. I mean, the figure of the movie is very controversial in itself. But और कौन सा cricket movie है? There's another cricket movie. Oh, there's a...
Iqbal is a great film.
Iqbal is a great film.
Yeah.
Iqbal is a great film. It's a good cricket film.
Shahid Kapoor Jersey is a...
I enjoyed Jersey. I hadn't seen the original.
Okay.
But I enjoyed Jersey in the theatre.
Okay, the Telugu films are insane. And Shahid's done a great job as well.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it was...
riveting. Like, you know?
There's a whole dilemma around remakes also. Some do wonders. Some don't do well at all.
Yeah, I think again, when you're looking at one of the most successful films of 2022 is Drishyam 2. Okay? Yeah. It's a remake of a Malayalam film.
I saw the Malayalam film right here.
Yeah.
In the pandemic.
It's a scene-to-scene remake. Okay? Other than Akshay Khanna having a few snippets which are not in the original film. The film worked. A lot of people then get into nitty-gritties of it not having a Hindi dubbed. Malayalam films never really penetrated towards the North market. So, and also what happened was that the original Drishyam with Ajay Devgan was really a popular film and it was watched heavily on satellite. And all of this, and all of this really led to its hype. Whereas, if you look at it for every other remake that's happened in Hindi, it's not worked. From Selfie to Vikram Vedha to Jersey to all these films, they haven't financially worked.
I haven't seen Vikram Vedha.
Great film.
Free on Jio.
Yeah, it's on Jio now. Great film. Hrithik Roshan's amazing in the movie. But it also still doesn't offer anything new compared to the original film. And it was dubbed in Hindi. It was available for free on YouTube. So nobody was really that interested. And what I feel sad about is that Hrithik Roshan's probably seen it as a sign that he shouldn't experiment too much. So he's going to do the larger-than-life hero roles now and he's going to stick by it, which is rather sad. But, I think production companies now, especially in Hindi cinema, they're not doing remakes at all now. They don't want to. Even though there's going to be snippets of here, 2 or 3 everywhere, it's not going to be done in bulk like what happened after Kabir Singh.
Kabir Singh, I think, was the outlier.
Yeah,
that was also because of Shahid.
It was the outlier, but it set the trend of green lighting even more. So, and then the pandemic hit, everyone saw content everywhere, and now people are just like have an aversion to it. But it's rather, sometimes it's pretentious because I'll tell you, Shahid Kapoor's coming out with a movie called Bro Daddy. It's a remake of a French film, which I'm sure a lot of people have not seen. They're like, remake, hum to nahi dekhenge. It's like,
But you will watch
come
that.
on, what are you talking about?
I think another remake that I saw was this Anurag Kashyap film, Dobara? Dobara hai na uska?
Yes.
I saw that movie.
It's an okay film that, again, you're doing a theatrical release for that movie. People are not interested in watching it in theaters.
Yeah.
So
It's a movie that you see on your phone or your laptop
Yeah.
screen, not even on your TV for that matter.
that's what they're saying with Kashyap, though, that he's back with this movie. That's
Kennedy?
Yeah, Kennedy, that he's really got his original groove back. And I hope so, yeah, because his last 3-4 films have not been that
Which
exciting.
were the last 3-4 films.
So he did a movie called Almost Pyar with DJ Mohabbat that came out 3
Manmarjia was also Anurag Kashyap. right?
Manmarzia was Anurag Kashyap. He came out with Dobara. He came out with
There's another one that came out very
a
recently.
film, I forgot.
See, this was forgettable and
Yeah.
Anurag Kashyap films are not supposed to be forgettable.
Yeah. So that's what's
I
happening.
remember feeling, I don't know what kind of emotions when I watched Ugly for the first time.
Oh, dude. One of my favorites from him.
What a film. And similarly, whenever you go and watch Gangs of Wasseypur,
Bro, I remember watching Gangs of Wasseypur in a packed theater in Noida.
I haven't seen it on a theater.
Dude, and
Theater
the
mein
way
to nahi
they
dekha
danced on songs, people loved it. Especially the north of India absolutely celebrated it so much.
Because it captures it so authentically, no?
It's one of the best, dude. One of the best Hindi cinemas done.
Gangs of Wasseypur, both 1 and 2. This was also a talk of 3, right?
Yeah, but it's not gonna happen. I feel like
I didn't think it should happen.
yeah, but also like Kashyap, I think only very recently also said that he's not keen on it anymore. Even though they had apparently a set story ready. But I feel like when you're looking at gangster films like Satya and Gangs of Wasseypur really stand out as like, the Mount Rushmore of like...
We don't do those kind of movies anymore, do we?
They're saying that...
Not just gangster films.
yeah.
बट लेट्स से मूवी लाइक अभी ना हम जब वहाँ पे जा रहे थे, हम लोग स्विट्जरलैंड से जर्मनी जा रहे थे, तो हमारा 6-7 घंटे का ड्राइव था. उन्होंने एक बार तो चलाने की कोशिश करी DDLJ. Everyone in the bus was like, no, we have seen it too many times, we don't want to watch it. So then they played ZNMD.
Okay.
I watched it after a long time. My sister had just seen it on the flight on the way. So she was like, मेरे को दोबारा देखने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. So ZNMD was something that I realized we haven't done a movie like that in so long. Even Dil Dhadakne was not of that caliber. फिर हमने दूसरे टाइम में चलाई Welcome. And I realized we don't do movies like that anymore at all.
So the two things is one, road movies. There are very less of them. What I can think about...
That is where Dil Chahta Hai stands out.
Dil Chahta Hai, ZNMD. There's another Hindi film called Karwa that really stands out.
वो थोड़ा low-key है.
Low-key.
Even Piku for that matter.
Piku as well. A lot of people don't... I don't know what's happened is probably with the advancement of technology and a lot of movies being shot in like curated studios.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not doing those,
on location films.
on location films, and they stand out so much.
Because ये दिखता है ना कि effort हो रहा है.
So much effort, and it's so beautiful to look at. What I do agree about Welcome is Hindi cinema, a lot of people don't know how to do slapstick humor.
Yeah.
So the two that exist who are still relevant are Anis Bazmi and Priyadarshan.
I don't think Priyadarshan has done
He's not done...
a movie in a long time. Yes.
So he's done a Malayalam film called Marakkar, which is this huge period epic that he did with Mohanlal, which didn't really work. But he does cinema in Malayalam and Hindi here and there. But Anis Bazmi is the last of the slapstick humor style. Otherwise, you've got
There's Farhad Samji.
Otherwise, you've got the guys who have integrated into the modern context, which is Raj and DK. They know how to do it in the context.
But it's not just comedy.
It's not comedy. It's smart also. It's engaging.
There's action also.
Yeah. So those guys, I think, stand out.
I was gonna come to Farzi abhi isliye.
They stand out the most.
When is Family Man 3 coming out?
I think it'll be another year.
Oh.
Yeah. For sure. It'll take time. But I think they stand out the most in terms of getting humor and doing anything related to whether it's drugs, whether it's gangsters, whether it's anything.
So it's such a intermingled genre. It was done well.
And they always get the comedy on point, dude. And that's so tough to do. There's another guy, the guy who did Delhi Belly. He made another movie called Blackmail with Irfan Khan. So these situational comedies are very tough to do, and it has a very niche audience. And I feel like very few people get it.
I just remembered there's this huge wave of films that came out, which were these Bahubali style movies, period epics. Same, मेरे को तो पता भी नहीं. I think the only ones that I remember are Bahubali and this PS1, PS2. I haven't watched PS1, PS2, बट वो दोनों है जो मेरे को ऐसे डिस्टिंक्टली स्टैंड आउट हो रखे हैं. आई थिंक PS1 PS2 बिकॉज ऑफ Mani Ratnam.
Yeah. But what's the trend that Bahubali set is that we're going to make event films that will cater to all over India. And what's happened is that Bahubali led to these period epics being made that just didn't click. And now what's happened after KGF Chapter 2 is we're going to make these action-packed gangster films which is going to cater to everyone, and it just hasn't worked because you've realized that people just want to follow templates rather than the moment your source of making a film is
because the other one worked, let's do it.
The result, it's always doomed. Like I remember seeing this movie, Kannada film called Kabza, which was this big pan-Indian spectacle. It was such a terrible film. And it's a film that, you know, now there's such posturing with PR handles. It already posted its success party visuals, 100 crores in one day, that people called it out as BS immediately. So a lot of people are trying it, but nobody can do what Rajamouli does here. And Prashant Neel, who did KGF, his also sensibilities come from, I'm going to do this. You know, he's one of the few directors who goes in interviews and says, I do this for money. And people love this authenticity. People are like, no, bad. At least he's admitting to it. But the fact that he's in his lane doing his thing, you can't replicate that mindset, you know. And I feel like Ayan really tried with Brahmastra, but it didn't really fully click.
I think I heard something around him not doing the future Brahmastra. I think it was one of your
I think it's kind of a mess right now because he said yes to directing War 2. Okay. So he is...
Siddharth Anand kya karega fir?
Siddharth Anand's doing Pathan versus Tiger. So he's doing fighter.
Pathan versus Tiger also that's coming.
So see, I'm telling you the reason why people are excited about this spy universe is because there's so much to look forward to.
Pathan versus Tiger and then Kabir comes in somewhere.
Yeah, you know, the concept of them three being
the thing is that they'll have to do these in the next year.
Yeah, 2025 is the last film. So what they're going to do is, they're going to do Tiger 3, then they're going to do War 2, then they're going to do Pathan versus Tiger. Yeah.
So they have 3 films to earn 3,000 crores.
Come on. Yeah. And, you know, Singham, again, is not as exciting as this.
Pathan versus Tiger, of course.
But, you know, there are very few event directors in Hindi space. So you've got your YRF and Dharma who can do it. A little dark horse is RSVP, which is Ronnie Screwwala's company.
Okay.
That is trying to do Ashwathama. So there's a movie that they're trying to do called Mortals of Ashwathama, which is going to be this sci-fi film based on a Hindu god. But its budget's so high that very few people are being able to greenlight it.
Which is not being greenlighted yet, but they're trying to.
They're shopping around production companies. And that's why people say that the rumor is that Dharma has left Brahmastra because it doesn't want to finance 2, and that Ayan is going shopping after War 2 to get Brahmastra through greenlit, hopefully by Jio. So it's crazy. It's a little scary.
वैसा देख के लग रहा है आपकी ब्रह्मास्त्र 2 and 3 are not happening.
It's a little scary, and also because you're then expecting a Ranbir Kapoor to sign with the expectation that it gets done within a year. Will it though?
I don't
know.
Ranbir Kapoor's movie catalog also, I'm just I don't know what to think of it. There are very good movies, and then is the Shamshera.
Yeah. There's always a hidden a miss in his filmography, always. What I do like about his approach is he's never signed a remake, never wants to tell a story that's already been told.
अभी Animal के उस पे मैंने देखा था, like the Animal poster has superstar Ranbir Kapoor.
Yeah. But that's...
I don't know what to think of it.
That's Vanga, dude. So Sandeep Reddy Vanga loves him. So... You know, but it is good marketing, no?
Superstar.
It's like, we're going to say this, we're going to stick by it. If you like it or you don't like it, you can give your galis and debate about it or whatever, but we're going to stick by it.
Animal is coming out soon, right?
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, in July or first week of August. That's going to... Bro, you know, you have very few creators like Sandeep Reddy Vanga who just don't give a shit. So the moment you're in that mode where from a writing point of view, you're not thinking about what the outcome will be or the reaction will be, there are very few like that. Now it's become so cushioned to the point of where you're thinking about the output of outrage or celebration, where you're not organically just writing a story. I feel like he sticks by it. But you're bang on about Ranbir Kapoor being a hit and a miss. Like there's too many of his films that are underrated or are underappreciated in my opinion. But there are some films that are just terrible. Besharam's terrible, Roy is terrible. I feel
Roy was horrible.
Yeah.
मैंने वो पूरी पिक्चर देख ली और मुझे समझ ही नहीं आया
क्या हुआ
क्या है, क्या हुआ है,
कौन लिख रहा है, कौन फिक्शनल है.
हाँ, समझ ही नहीं आ रहा उस पिक्चर में क्या हो रहा है. I don't know. Bombay Velvet also again I think.
Yeah. It's not a great film, but it's not bad.
Possible.
But I feel like, he's got his Rocket Sings, he's got his Salesman, he's got his Wake Up Sid, he's got so many of these kind of movies that are, and have great repeat value, these movies. Shamshera, I feel like if it was more about...
seen it.
So if you see the movie, Shamshera, the character, is in the first half of the movie. And then it's his son who plays a lighter version of it. So the most interesting part of the movie dies in the first half. So everybody lost interest. And also what I realized was that it was just a repackaging of Agnipath. If you see the movie again, the same revenge saga, which is Agnipath, was this movie. And just people weren't interested.
People put in a lot of money in these movies, expecting them to make 2x, 3x out of them.
Dude, right now, that's why there's almost a course correction that is happening with a lot of what is considered you've got your Arsenal, Manchester City, you've got your Fulham, and you've got your mid-table clubs. So you've got that table for actors now, right? So the mid-table actors are now having a course correction of wanting to change their acting fees because a lot of those actors have a 10 crore, 15 crore acting fees, and the movies are made on a 10, 15 crore budget. The total budget is 40 crores and the revenue is around less than 10 crores. So people are like, you're not justifying your price anymore.
I think Karan Johar said this, right?
But he's been saying it for 5 years.
Oh.
And he's been saying it while being the most powerful production company. So he can make those decisions. But sadly, what's happened is that there is only this pool of actors you can work with. So everybody wants to act with a Khan, but those Khans now take a profit percentage and sometimes an upfront fees also. So I'll tell you a movie. There's a movie called Selfie that came out, okay? An Akshay Kumar, Imran Hashmi movie. It has a lifetime collection of probably 20 to 25 crores, okay? It opened to 2 crores. Okay, which is unheard of for an Akshay Kumar movie. Its budget is close to 110 crores. Okay, it has no business being 110 crores. It's a remake of a Malayalam film that was made on a 20 crore budget. Okay, the movie, when you visually look at it, it's the most standard looking film, but it has no business in being so expensive.
Because of actors' fees.
That's what people said about Vikram Vedha also. Vikram Vedha, the original film with Madhavan and Vijay Sethupathi, is made on a 4-5 crore budget. And it did really well. It was a super hit. This movie is made on a 100 crore budget, more than 100 crores. But visually, it looks the same. So, this course correction is definitely something that's really hit them post the pandemic. And a lot of them are being like, okay, we got to get with the system now because it's burdening the films a lot.
Burdening the films. I think that's the course correction happening across Bollywood now.
Yeah. But is it happening in the influencer market?
See, abhi influencer market mein, see, you don't do brand deals.
No.
In the sense that...
YouTube sometimes, but Instagram, Twitter, no.
So, अभी YouTube में क्या चल रहा था कि sponsors आते थे because startups से बहुत पैसा था. There were all these finance creators, finance brands getting a lot of, splurging all kinds of money. So, इधर भी वो same scene हो रहा है. Last 3 months have been brutal for this space. People who had no business getting deals worth 8-10 lakhs a month are now getting no money. So people who are now living a lavish lifestyle have to move back to their cities, cut down on the expenses, but they're not used to it. So how I look at it is, there's a chhanni kind of a thing happening. Where only the good kind of people who are making good content will stay. Everyone else gets filtered out. And they stop. They stop creating.
Dude, that's what there was a very funny anecdote of someone in the States who was talking about the same boom. And then saying that the moment the course correction happened and the brand deal stopped coming, they couldn't adapt to the new lifestyle. So when it came to filing their ITR, they didn't have enough money. They were like, "Fuck, I don't even have savings like that."
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Yeah.
But that kind of stuff happens every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
There's a new wave of people that will rise up and they'll go down. And then उसके 2 साल बाद जो पुराने बचे होंगे वो veterans हो जाएंगे फिर space के.
Personality channels, especially like that fears me the most in terms of your personality being relevant for so long becomes so tough.
So you have to do something which is beyond your personality, right? For example, in your case, it becomes movies.
Yeah.
So you can infuse a bit of your personality and then talk about stuff that is happening culturally. I realize podcast is a good way to dodge that bullet.
Yeah.
That your
because
personality.
You can have guests and
you can have guests. Yeah. You can have guests and then you can also maneuver around that personality wala thing.
But vlogging also it's such a booming numbers that I see in India.
It's not.
I was seeing, bro. I was seeing some of these actors who have become vloggers now. Their thing is insane. Not in terms of their content. I don't see the content, but when I see the numbers and what they're doing, it's the most mundane crap about in-law drama that's happening. But bro, some of them are recording deaths. They're recording funerals.
See, that is the price of being a...
Oh God.
You have to manufacture drama, right? You have to manufacture drama because at the end of the day, सबकी life normally होती है.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
They have to then manufacture drama. For example, I think the biggest vlogger in the country is this guy called Saurav Joshi. I don't know if you have seen that.
Oh, yes. I've seen...
He doesn't manufacture drama.
Okay, he just chills.
He's doing what he is doing and he's just recording.
Doesn't he have a very monotone delivery also, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The reason people try to replicate him is because they think because he is interesting, his mundane life is interesting, so our mundane life will be interesting as well. The differentiator for him is that he already had a YouTube channel because he was talented enough to create artwork.
Oh, okay.
So he had an audience from there, which translated into a mundane viewing audience about what this guy does beyond creating art. And now his family is just what they are.
No, because I remember seeing, I forgot it, Aapka Jags is the guy, na? He made a parody on it, so it stood out. No, it's tough, dude. Like, I was seeing, like, Gaurav Taneja, he was doing that the Dhoni thing.
Oh, yeah, you go out to... I mean, I personally think that's him trying out every possible thing that he can to stay into the numbers that he was doing
back during the pandemic.
Yeah, and now the unanimous reaction to that, this ye Desh Ka Dhoni wala PR or whatever, is just why?
What's the point?
What's the point? There's no point. So both they can realize hota hai that blogging also, because it is so heavily dependent upon his own personality. And if I am a person who is into a vlogger, I will move on to a next vlogger when I realize, okay, he's doing the same thing again and again. So wo to scene hota hi hai.
Dude, it's scary.
But again, so you have to take your bets in terms of your content, right? You have to make sure that it is, again, long-lasting.
You know what I realized was during the pandemic, okay? During the pandemic, movie channels especially boomed like crazy, okay?
Of course.
My channel boomed like crazy, and there was a genuine interest in content across languages. So whatever you would talk about, it would click immediately. And now you've realized is that people have become more obsessed with the finance of it and how the movies are doing and boycott campaigns and personal remarks and stuff. And you can only tilt so often, okay, of what people want. So I realized that I'll tell you, like, the month of September, October, November, December, they're huge for movie months, okay? So you do really well, you earn really well, and then January onwards, it dips, okay? I'll tell you, this month is probably like the worst because there's no Hindi release, okay? So you're just churning out content from nothing.
इस महीने कौन सा release हुआ है?
There are a few releases, like Kathal is a Netflix release that came out, which was a fun film. Then IB71 is a Vedant Jamwal movie, which was okay. But, you know, I'm also like digging for scraps at this point. You know, you're literally looking at things that doesn't really hyper interest people a lot. And this is the case for movies across languages. The biggest release actually was Kerala Story. And the next big release was this Malayalam film called 2018, which has done exceptionally well on the Kerala floods. But you're looking at me primarily being a Hindi film channel, right? So you're just churning out content, trying to find something to talk about. So I feel like that taps into your creative mindset of like, how can you talk about something which can...
So from what I see, you have now two choices. You can either go ahead into the Kerala story and the politics and the et cetera of it, or you can now make compilation videos which you do very well anyway.
But that also like discourse around AI generated things that are happening in
I'm gonna interrupt you on this because just yesterday or day before, I had my friend here, ठीक है, मैं उसको बता रहा था कि मेरे को मंडे को पॉडकास्ट करना है अनमोल के साथ, and I played whatever video you had uploaded the latest, and he was like, यार ये ऐसा लग रहा है ये AI generated voice है कोई.
Yeah, bro, but what I've realized is that people have become accustomed to the voice of staying on point, sticking to whatever the thing is. I do want to transition in June onwards to do a more Charlie style videos, Penguin Z0 if you follow him.
Yeah.
To stick by the content still, but just be there.
Have this more
personality, definitely driven. But I feel like a lot of people are very happy with the fact that it sticks to the point rather than me trying to, maro my own one-liners here and there for the sake of it. But what I realized was that you can either tilt towards that, talk about Kerala story, talk more, like hone in on the drama that's unfolding, or talk about genuine things like, as I wanted to say, like saturation of actors, whether stardom's going away, or new topics like what I was talking about. I spoke about this last month, which was about de-aging actors, okay, of how Shah Rukh and Salman look like just smoothened out versions of back in the day. So these are the topics you can talk about, and you bear the brunt of probably the numbers not being exceptionally good, but people coming back to you for something interesting.
Yeah, but there is a substantially decent baseline also, na?
Always.
So that decent baseline is what is important.
Yeah.
Because when you start tilting too much towards trendy topics, आपको baseline नीचे हो जाता है.
Yeah.
The moment that baseline goes low, then you have to tilt towards here and there. Because आपको फिर उसको maintain करना पड़ेगा.
Because then, you're just looking for that next dramatic thing that you can do, right?
That's the next event.
That's the Logan Paul dilemma, right? Should you go to that forest? Should you record that? No, I don't think so.
So that is again.
But ethics, bro, ethics are never good for growth. What I've realized is one thing, long-term growth, yes. Ethics के मामले में ना financially कितना no बोला है, it's not even funny.
Yeah, I know. I can understand. I can empathize with that.
Bro.
But it's okay. I think आपका English channel के ad rates तो इतने होंगे इससे काम चल जाता है.
It's great. No. I'm not complaining. I'm definitely blessed that way. I'm blessed that way of not feeling that hit over 5-6 years of creating content.
Yeah.
But when you hear about some of the deals, you're like, wow, okay. No wonder.
हाँ, but उसके बाद फिर वो deals ये तो हो गया. I mean, you've been doing it for 6-7 years now. You realize that people who have done those kind of deals do not get to do it for 6-7 years also.
Bro, like I'll tell you, like the kind of deals that a lot of these guys do make no sense also. Like I remember there was a very popular Hollywood film that was just throwing money on influencers in Mumbai. Okay?
What? Avatar?
It was no. Aladdin. Okay? And its PR marketing made no sense to me. Okay? It was giving money to influencers that don't even talk about films.
Yeah.
And the kind of deals that they were cracking, I was like, what is even happening?
ये मुंबई में जितने premieres होते हैं उनका सबका same यही scene रहता है.
Bro,
every person who has some audience will go to watch a movie one day before it releases.
Nothing frustrated me more than going for Rings of Power. Okay? And there were real influencers there. Okay? Who were there just for the open bar.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
And while the movie is going on, everybody just started leaving. Sorry, the series.
To be honest, Rings of Power is not that good also.
And that too, but also like just be here for the thing you're here for.
I don't think they want to watch the movie at all.
Why are you here?
Stories?
Oh God.
Collaborations?
It was hilarious.
Just yesterday I was in an event. It was a Delhi event. All of the people over there, so I was there, I was chilling, मैं खाना खा रहा था मस्त देखता हुआ. And there was a 15-minute break, a coffee break between the two sessions. And everyone, rather than moving to food, moved on to the poster, जहाँ पे वो photo spot है, ये photo खिंचवा के story पे डालना है. So it is just I mean, I can understand also kind of why I want to do this.
But I understand from a marketing standpoint for the influencer. He's been told to do whatever the job is and he's doing that.
Yeah.
But from a PR standpoint,
For
I would rather go which could create a generation of active interest with the audience versus a person who does
the worst one that I remember. How did Hero Panti do as a movie? Did it do? The one that
pretty
came,
terrible. It did
Yeah.
like 34 crores or so.
their choice of marketing was going with that person who was a meme doing the Tiger Shroff, Choti Bachchi ho gaya tha.
Oh, yeah.
It was their choice of marketing to go that route.
Yeah. You know,
I mean, no offense to that guy who did it. He became popular with that. But again, if your choice of marketing
no,
is
see,
that
like,
way,
if you look at it in the other context, there's a girl who imitates Alia as well, right? They've never honed in on that. Alia and her team, they've never gone to use it as...
yeah, because they realize it is, I mean, that star power is gonna decline
Yeah.
if you are
it is,
interacting with normal human beings.
And that can't be your
Choice of
MO,
marketing.
dude.
Yeah.
That can't be. And what I realized was a lot of the PR companies, dude, they are just holding on to scraps because there's been a diminishing returns issue with them in terms of their movies.
I don't think PR as a profession and necessity is now limited to very expertly being in damage control. Damage control में काम आ सकता है PR.
Yeah. Like, I'll tell you, like, a lot of people say that it's a miracle on how Chris Brown did a full 180 to what his image was. So, but what I'm saying is that, you know, to curate a particular image of an actor now is becoming so forced, where you can clearly see the pattern of these influencers saying the same shit where you're not going to buy it. And I can't tell you how many times, the reason why I've stopped going to screenings, especially Hindi film screenings, is you see the movie and the PR guy is going to come to you. How was it, dude? Wasn't it lovely? It's like, yeah, it's great. And then they're going to make the actor also stand on the side. Okay? It's like, oh, Anmol, I'll introduce you. You meet the actor's also like chilling, talking to all the media guys. The media guys are taking selfies with him. And in their review, they've posted the selfie and said, best performance of your career, this, that. So the pressure that comes with that kind of thing is something that I found debilitating, dude. So I was like, आप मुझे ये फोन मत करो कि मेरा वो quote क्या है so that आप पोस्टर में डालो. आप रहने दो, मैं नहीं आऊँगा. And the moment I remember like having to delete a few things because of them not being happy. So I just stopped going because it's
not worth the...
Not worth it, dude. And they're just like wanting favors by the end of it.
Yeah.
And
मतलब if it is not an observe, it's not a... मतलब बहुत obvious नहीं है कि transactional है, but at the end of the day it is a transactional.
It is transactional. Right? And they will hound you about it, dude.
Yeah, they will hound you about it.
Why don't you add this adjective as well in your description?
I mean, it's a telling sign if the movie reviewers are not going to movie screenings and everyone else is.
Bro, that's why also in the saturated market of reviews also people are watching like less and less of people who became sort of PR voices at one point of time. I'll tell you, Twitter's the worst. Twitter, you see it, you'll just see the same standard of reviews constantly.
हाँ सी मैं वो तरह फॉर्मूला फॉलो करता है सब स्टार वाह क्या तारीफ है और पिक्चर के कलेक्शन नंबर्स. That is the Twitter review formula.
That is, bro, there's an entire, what they say, na, samosa critics. So, it's, and I know the deals that some of them get.
Deal तो आते होंगे ना मैं बता रहा हूँ मैंने तो रिव्यू करना 3 साल पहले छोड़ दिया है. मेरे पे आता है आज भी वो स्क्रीनर.
Vedant, it's become even more lucrative after that of becoming a sort of pawn to the system. But it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. People recognize real, and I've noticed this with just my comment section and the people you also meet in real life. They just recognize it. It's better to be that way.
So I think even when I consume a movie criticism channel or a movie review, I would only go and watch the people's videos जिनका मुझे पता है कि ये फालतू की बकचोदी नहीं करेंगे, ये काम की बात करेंगे, genuine opinion देंगे और निकल लेंगे. For example, I've been watching this guy very judiciously, this critical drinker. Some of his opinions are okay, I don't like this opinion, but I know he's saying it from whatever ऐसे मन से अच्छे से बोल रहा है वो.
I've seen it. Yes. And there are very few in the States as well. Like, there are only two people I follow, Jeremy Jahns and Chris Tuckman.
Yeah.
They stand out to me.
For comic books, I go to this Emergency Awesome.
Oh yes, he's also great, yes. But there is what's happened is there's a genuine love for storytelling in the West, of calling it out as it is, and there is a distance between the influencer and the film.
Yeah.
There is such a intermingling that's happening between the film industry and influencers here now that it's almost like, we know you're a puppet, dude. So it's almost become,
Which is why when
tough.
these podcasts with actors वगैरह started happening in the early days, right? I was very overjoyed कि हाँ ठीक है, it's good that the industries are mingling. Now I know if someone is on some podcast, some actor is on a podcast, it is not an honest to God conversation that's happening. It is a PR circle that they're doing कि अभी इस podcast पे, फिर इस podcast पे, फिर इस podcast पे, फिर इस interview में, और फिर उसके बाद वो PR push खत्म हो जाएगा, and then they can do whatever they want.
See, also what happens is that when I try to get a lot of the actors before their movies release, they don't reply to you. The moment a month is left now, they're like, let's do it, dude. Come on, that's it. So it's sad.
So the ones that you do, I think those are in collaboration with the studio, or how do those
Not
work?
at all.
Oh.
So, these things technically should be also paid PR.
And I assume they are.
I don't take any money for interviews. But in the process, I say no to a lot of interviews. So there are a lot of campaigns that happen for a lot of actors that I'm not interested in it. So I'm not going to get invested in it.
Yeah.
So like a Manoj Bajpayee comes to me, there is no way I say no. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because he's Manoj Bajpayee. So there are times where there's never been a time where I've said yes to an actor who I'm not interested to.
They do not want to do.
And thankfully, most of the PR has never butt in of the kind of questions that I want to ask, except one time where I had to like play some stupid ass game or something, and I was like, shit, what am I doing?
उसके बाद realize हो गया कि ये नहीं करना.
ये ना होगा हमसे. And but most actors are great. I've had some terrible experiences also, but most actors are good.
I think the most fun that I could see just from the video you had was with John
The best.
for Attack.
The
best. वो मेरे को वीडियो देख के लग रहा था कि अनमोल is having so much fun
The
doing this.
best, dude. I can't tell you how cool he was. And I don't know, I probably because he had a reference to what I was doing already. He had seen some of the videos, but he came in his tracks and chops. He came with one manager that he has, no entourage, landed up on time, chilled. Recording got over, still chilled around. He was too good, dude, and he was such a surprise to me. And it shows in the video. The moment
that's what I said.
The moment there is a sense of comfort, it shows so much. But I've had like terrible instances, where like people are just not interested. Because also sometimes they look at me and they think I'm like some rando who's going to talk about films. And so there was a time where this one female actor was just not interested. And she was like munching on something, chilling, looking around and stuff. And then I asked something interesting. So then she got interested. I was like, अच्छा ये तो थोड़ा अच्छे सवाल पूछ रहा है. But the worst probably has to be like, I think call time. Bombay is horrible with time. So you'll have a 3 p.m. Be ready. आप शुरू कर देना. बस 3:30 तक आ जाएंगे. And they come at like 7 or something. So that is always a bad.
Punctuality तो मतलब
Bombay is bad with time, dude. Even your Tamil and Telugu actors will tell you when they come to Bombay, like it's so bad. Like they're not used to it. Why everyone's so late? And Mumbai time always is post noon.
हाँ तो सुबह कुछ होता नहीं है.
कुछ नहीं होता.
हाँ फिर अरे बट ठीक है मैं समझ सकता हूँ 2 घंटे तो वहाँ पर ट्रैफिक में लग जाता है आपको कहीं भी जाने में. अभी मैंने
भी एक्सक्यूज है यार.
अरे
रेडी ही नहीं होते वो.
नहीं एक्सक्यूज आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड. मैं ना अभी जब लास्ट बॉम्बे गया था तो मैंने एक जूम कार बुक करा कि मस्त है बॉम्बे में
ड्राइव करेंगे.
नहीं ऐसे सुनो तो पूरी कहानी. मैंने बुक करा जूम कार से एक बढ़िया मर्सिडीज की. अरे 3 दिन के लिए है थोड़ा स्प्लर्ज करता है घूमेंगे हमें लोगों से मिलेंगे. थैंकफुली when I landed and went to that Zoom car, the app did not work and the car was not in a good condition for me to take.
Okay.
So I did not take that. And उसके बाद मैं BKC में रुका हुआ था और मेरे को उस 3 दिन के स्पैन में 4-5 बार अंधेरी वेस्ट जाना पड़ा. वेस्ट ईस्ट जो भी था. 1.5 घंटा इन ऑटो, 1.25 घंटा इन कैब, 2 घंटा इन कैब.
Bro, you're talking about Bandra East to Andheri West. BKC is the worst to get in or get out.
मैं मेरा दोस्त वहाँ रहता था मेरे को अभी वहीं रहता है. So I realized कि okay no next time I'm coming I'm taking a B&B in Andheri and then staying उधर ही.
Dude, If you want to interact with production companies, Andheri West is the best.
So my interaction, production companies तो मेरा तो thankfully कोई लेना देना नहीं है. But even if I, ये मैंने सुन रखा है बॉम्बे वालों से, you stay in Andheri, everyone is okay to come to Andheri, stays around Andheri. तो travel time को 2 घंटे की जगह आधा घंटा 1 घंटा हो जाता है.
If you want to be a little more pretentious, then Bandra Juhu.
अरे बैंड्रा के यार BNB बड़े नहीं मिल रहे बैंड्रा में ना.
हाँ, that's.
I want a good space at a cheaper price.
Yeah.
तो मुझे
Space is a
थोड़ा scene
problem.
है. Space is the problem.
Juhu has more space, but a little more expensive. Little more, क्या बहुत expensive compared to Andheri West for sure.
अभी हम उसकी बात कर रहे थे ना, ये movies not being shot around. I think that is something that got hit into my head when I watched ये Ant-Man.
Oh God.
That movie was just 3 people standing in front of us doing whatever.
I couldn't get over the dialogues, dude. The daughter had, "You're a good guy. You're not a stupid piece of shit." No, and I was like, what is happening over here? No, it was, I just could not get into it, dude.
Thankfully, जो multiverse थी, because of Sam Raimi, at least visually it stood out.
I agree. Some visuals, yes.
Even Guardians, this one I enjoyed the visuals a lot.
They did, I think Insider or someone did a behind the scenes for Guardians. A lot of them have sets.
Very practical.
Very practical sets. So it definitely showed, definitely showed.
Are you more of a DC person or a Marvel person?
I am a DC person.
क्या लग रहा है James Gunn क्या करेगा?
It brought some trust within me while watching Guardians that he has a sense of the world. I especially feel like he is absolutely invested in the comic books, so he has a sense of the world and the intricate details about it, especially the personalities of the superheroes. So I feel like he, even though it breaks my heart that Henry Cavill isn't Superman anymore.
No, what was that drama?
Especially when your Black Adam ended, dude, I was like, oh my God, the world is going to be so crazy.
But I loved कि उसके Black Adam के चक्कर में, मतलब Black Adam did not perform as well financially, तो Rock को बेचारे वापस Fast X में आना पड़ गया.
That Fast X I just can't with the cameos, यार. You're like Gal Gadot, Rock, कुछ भी हो रहा है. I think
fun thrill ride. बट अगेन मेरे को भी वो जो बात कर रहे थे कि कितना एक्सपेंसिव हो गया है, जस्ट नाउ रिमेंबर्ड कि मेरे को 1200 रुपये का वो रिक्लाइनर का सीट था, उसके बाद मैंने 600-700 रुपये का पॉपकॉर्न भी लिया है, तो 1800 रुपये मैंने वो मजाक देखने के लिए, बट आई वॉज इन द मूड टू एंजॉय इट, सो आई एंजॉयड इट.
That's why, every Friday I'm in the cinemas.
Yeah.
So now the PVR guys know me. They're like, wacky.
Do you have a fixed seat where you sit and watch, or do you move around the theater?
Move around, but 8:55, 9 a.m. wale show
you have to go watch the first show.
Early shows. And then, but mine is standard black coffee and just sit over there and not do anything. Because the moment I get into popcorn, nachos, coke, you're just having a meal, bro. Might as well go to Khan Market and have some sushi or something. Yeah.
But fitness is also very important for you.
Bro, I think it's definitely kept me sane. The regularity that we were talking about is something where the boredom does set in for a lot of people. But
fitness keeps it interesting.
It's kept me level-headed so much, bro. And I feel like what happened was that I definitely went through a bit of a crisis mentally during the pandemic.
Of course.
And because I didn't have access to the way I was moving, I don't know, bro. I feel like I did a bit of therapy during that time and honed in on what was the problem. I feel like I equated my personality a lot to the work that I was doing and couldn't segregate it better. And it's only after the pandemic where I've created my life outside of the work, where there's been a sense of peace outside of it and not constant anxiety of what's the next thing to do. And I feel like that's the biggest fear that creators mostly have, is like the moment you're done with this, they're like, now let's go, another one. It's really helped me zone in on being in the moment, working out. I had ballooned up a year ago to a weight I never envisioned ever being. I was 82 kilos, the heaviest I've been in 2021. And I was like, what am I doing? And
so this is not bulking, this is just ballooning.
No, it was a concept of thinking that I'm just getting stronger. So I was lifting like crazy. I was doing like 315 in squat. I was doing 225 in bench. I was like, okay, this is the best I'm looking, but I'm huffing and puffing throughout the normal day. So I was like, okay, I'm really have to lean. So today I'm like 75 kilos. I've been the leanest I've ever been in like since the past 6 years. But it really just made me think that no wonder, yaar, I was playing sports throughout school, I was playing football throughout, and you felt so much better when you were just lean,
Able to
eating
move.
clean, doing well. But I've realized like my mental health also got so much better when I've been just leaner and of a particular weight. And I look forward to it, yeah. A sense of boredom hasn't clicked in with that we're going to do chest or bi and realize, okay, it's been great. And dance has helped also.
Oh yeah.
Even though I should do it more often.
You don't do it as much on the channel anymore.
On the channel, I
You
don't.
do it on Instagram. You do it.
I do it
say
on Instagram,
मतलब infrequent है काफी.
What I've realized is YouTube is definitely for dance is a short form game.
Yeah.
The big ones, it just doesn't make sense from an algorithm standpoint. But I can do it on one of those big event songs. But I feel like I like the fact that now it's more fun rather than work.
Yeah.
I had anxiety about dance also. Yeah, at one point of time, naya gana kab aayega to do it and all of that, and I make zero from it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun. I feel like being physically, constantly at it has been fun. You've also created a relationship with it, like.
I have. I realize मतलब अभी जब से ये travel के चक्कर में the fitness has not gone down, but I've realized it just has to be an important part of my life. I have to make it a point. एक तो thankfully ये घड़ी काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है. ऐसे मेरे को अच्छा लगता है जब तीनों rings close होते हैं और वो animation आता है सुंदर सा. So I try to do it 4 to 5 times a week. The only problem that I'm struggling with is because I do not have a gym buddy now. So I was in the best shape when I had a gym buddy. वो मेरे को शाम को लेने आता था, मस्त gym करते थे. तो वो routine follow करने में थोड़ा मुश्किल हो रहा है. So that is one problem that I'm trying to figure out a way around. But उसके लिए I think best solution is कि trainer hire कर लो.
Bro, sometimes now it's become to the point where in the evening if someone's like, let's meet at 6, I'm like, can we just do 9 or 10 or something? And the concept of even eating at home and then stepping out, it's something that I never did, but it's such an, I've realized, it's an old man game. We become old. I never envisioned us to be old.
But you are a gin connoisseur, so I think that would work.
I never thought we'll be the oldies on the internet,
No, so that is a reality that we have.
We used to see Joey Graceffa and Shay Carl and BF versus GF. And we were like, we're such bachas, And we became the boomers.
Oh, yeah.
And now I see whenever I write content or write anything on Twitter, a lot of these fan pages are run by 16, 15-year-olds. And they're like, you mid, boomer, piece of shit, fucking uncle. And I mean, calling those words.
You're not 30 yet, no?
Oh, no, not 30.
Batao.
Sad, dude.
No, that's okay.
But what I like is that our demographic is the demographic that's grown up in both eras.
Yeah.
So we're also doing still the same thing. We've just got older. It's not that we're the has-beens who are talking to just a younger demographic. And I also feel like I benefit because my demographic on the channel was always 18 plus. Was always 18 to 35.
That is something that I also now realize the value of when I see these gaming creators and other comedy creators, let's say, whose demographic was teenagers. So now when those teenagers are becoming adults, उनके preferences change हो रहे हैं, and that creates an existential crisis for the creator.
Yeah, man.
Because they have also grown older. They can't cater to kids and create content that works for kids. And the current demographic is now older enough that they don't watch that.
I was watching Smosh. And there's no engagement because nobody's interested anymore. And then
जो उनको देखते थे वो उनके now they have families to take care of, mortgages to pay off.
And then you've got a Lily Singh, like she suffered so much because of the same. But
I think she did have a good attempt to transition into TV. But I mean, अब जब आप YouTube audience को cater करते हो, grow होते हो, तो आप TV audience की तरफ as a performer बहुत मुश्किल होता है जाना.
I mean, I feel like they're trying it with Prajakta, they're trying it with, that transition. Bhuvan is trying it. The mainstream.
Bhuvan and Rohit have done it very successfully so far.
Yeah. Digitally, the shows track really well.
बहुत बढ़िया.
They're the most viewed if you look at some of the series. And the investment is close to 100 sometimes, by the way, compared to other series. It's insane.
I mean, more to fit proper production में घुस गए ना. Like they are now the underdogs in the whole space. There is an audience that has watched them grow from nothing. And so they're backing them. Versus someone, I mean, similar show कोई और बनाता, कोई और star बनाता, उसको तो attraction नहीं मिलता.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's still a digital to digital transition. So you're still telling the audience like, just watch my show rather than support me as a talent.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get scared a bit for, the Ashish's and the Prajaktas and the person who did skits back in the day, and then people having to take them seriously as talent later. That transition.
I think Ashish is in a good space because he also has, a business angle to it.
Yes.
So he can just do what he does for fun, rather than focusing on as becoming a talent.
Yeah, he does like one video in 4 months or something.
And that video does very well.
Yeah, banging, dude, banging.
मतलब उसको भी अभी जब मैं last में रहता, I've been supposed to have a conversation with him as well. We're just not able to figure out कब करें. But वही बोल रहा था वो कि वीडियो बनाने में मेरे को मजा आता है. वो figure out करना है कि इसको कैसे और frequently करा जा सकता है.
Because he also feared it. He was also getting typecast as the best friend, and he just didn't.
अभी I recently found out that he had a cameo in Men in Black.
Yeah, Hindi one. Yeah.
मुझे पता ही नहीं था. अभी कोई तो बता रहा था मेरे को.
But
Ashish had a cameo in Men in Black.
Bro, like, he told me some of the things that they envisioned for him. I respect him for that. Like, he was like, I don't want to get typecast into this.
Yeah.
Because then you're just like any other actor, yaar.
I haven't seen this Prajakta movie that came.
Juk Juk Jio.
I haven't seen it.
She has a very small role. She does a good job. I think she's got renewed for another season of Mismatch.
I don't like that show.
Yeah, I also don't like it, but it has an audience, I guess, and they're doing the 16 to 24 demographic, I guess. I don't necessarily get it, but more power.
I think that is where we are old now. We don't get 16-24 demographic anymore.
But see, like, even Rohit Saraf, he has a appeal with a younger demographic. Even though it's the Noah Centineo vibe, right? And then Noah also grows up. Rohit will also grow up. So how long can you be that 30-year-old who's doing these teenage rom-coms?
Yeah.
That's what I think tripped out people the most about Euphoria, which was these guys are all in the late 20s and 30s.
And they're playing high school.
They're playing 16-year-olds.
I've heard a lot about this Netflix show Class करके जो आया था.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Bro,
but it gave me that same vibe. Like, these are not Delhi people that I've seen around me.
Yeah.
I don't know if these things happen in Delhi or not.
So I would say a lot of things happen in Delhi that they've shown. It's definitely not as crazy in terms of the sheer volume of drugs you're looking at, because they're doing like the craziest shit. But what I've also realized is that itself is a cocoon that a lot of people are not exposed to. The rich of Delhi NCR who are in your schools that we all know of, they definitely are clubbing since they're 15.
Yeah, that is. वो तो है.
Bro, you go to Dear Donna right now, you'll just see 15, 16-year-olds everywhere. So in that way, it definitely exists. But it's again the same a demographic of late 20s, 30-year-olds. I know some of the cast members, they're playing 17-year-olds, but they're like in their late 20s and 30s.
I think this whole era of TVF doing with age-appropriate actors wale cheeze, that is not there anymore.
Yeah, it isn't there. If Amir Khan in 3 Idiots can be 18, now people are just following suit.
I think Tanya's been on the podcast. She's trying to break out of that whole appeal of being a TVF heroine. Yeah. He's done something. Abhi kuch to kara tha usne.
She did
very interesting.
A series called Tooth Pari.
That's something that
I didn't get through it, but
मैंने देखा नहीं है. मेरे को बस पता है कि उसमें कुछ तो
they tried something.
Yeah.
Just didn't work really that much.
हाँ, but ठीक है ना, कम से कम कोशिश तो हो रही है ना कि you very
She's a good actor. I feel like she's a very.
You can very easily continue doing that TVF kind of thing. There is ample scope of it on YouTube anyway. ना बड़े आराम से आज भी चल रहे हैं वो वेब सीरीज जो बन रहे हैं. I don't know if they're getting traction or not.
Bro,
YouTube
I feel like some of these like stupid ass skits still work. Like वो पता नहीं with the bad acting and dubbing. Like some of it. I haven't checked out the trending page in the longest time. I don't even know what it is anymore.
On my phone when I open YouTube, I only go to my subscription tab.
Yeah. Same.
Desktop पे YouTube देखना मैंने बहुत कम कर दिया है. It's either on my phone or on this TV. So when I go to the TV, it's the recommendation tab, and it is in 99% of the cases videos from my subscription that I haven't watched yet. So my YouTube is very curated in the sense that any new thing that comes up is either going to be a 30-second ka short, or it's going to be an hour-long video essay on some random obscure topic that I'm mildly interested in.
That was also the Wild Wild West. I remember when it was
this will happen in India within the next 2 years. You will see a lot of creators who are doing these trendy 5-minute, 10-minute videos fade away and you will see these creators who are super in depth about a random, the most obscure thing, make 3 or 4 hour long videos about it.
I was just seeing this random channel called Dodford
Oh,
or something.
I follow that guy on
Right.
Twitter. वो random नहीं है. वो लॉन्डे ने पहले 4-5 चैनल मेरे ख्याल से बना रखे हैं.
Ah.
And now he's using everything that he has learned into creating these very specific, very well done.
He did a video with
Yes.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, मैंने
which was so good.
मेरे recommendation में आ रही है वो पिछले 2 दिन से. जब मैं उसको पहली बार देखा था, so I'm putting off watching that video just to see कि वो video कहाँ जाके मेरी recommendation में आना बंद होता है. So that video in the first day had 20,000 views. Today morning I checked, it had close to 7 lakhs.
Yeah. No. It's such a well-made video. And you know, those will stand out. Yeah. Those well-made videos always stand out. It's a constantly evolving space. Yeah. Sometimes I just get tired. So I'm just like,
अपने लेन में रहो, अपना काम करो.
but you know, then when that lane also becomes irrelevant, then you start worrying, am I that?
I don't think the kind of work that you do in terms of having that value of ethics and the longevity that you have had is going to become irrelevant anytime soon.
You know, that thankfully cricket and movies will always stay.
Yeah.
So that discussion will always stay. So I'm grateful for that's become my niche, and I'm thankfully interested in that niche.
As long as you don't become a Taranadar जो सिर्फ movies के पैसों की बात करता रहता है.
But see, you know, now
But I mean, so he is that guy.
he's the trade analyst.
That guy.
He's
Yes.
the guy.
He's
Okay.
the guy.
But-
everyone else that tries to do that is a Taranadar.
Taran Adarsh type, and what's happened is he's a trade analyst. Okay.
Mm.
And he's a trade analyst and movie reviewer.
Mm.
And that's where I feel the conflict of interest always arises, and that's why the system has become flawed or screwed up, is you equate the performance of the film as its quality, and a lot of these guys just cater to advance booking hai, 20 crore kar legi,
बहुत बढ़िया.
4 star. So they cater to, they create an illusion that you're talking about the film's merits and demerits, but it's actually that they've already gauged that this will be seen by a lot of people. So I'm going to say good stuff.
So what other, I mean, do you watch other reviewers, other creators in the movie space? है तो किसको देखते हो?
In the Indian space, less. Yes, I see Jeremy Jahns and Chris Tuckman for everything Hollywood. It's actually one of the main reasons why I started the channel, because
I remember you told me this.
I was watching them. But in the Hindi space, I see a lot of the guys for the memes. Like some of the stuff they say unironically is damn funny. But you know, like the Badal and PJ and all, they've created a niche for themselves with a very young audience. And especially with the superhero genre.
Superhero and
Anime genre. So they've really curated a great audience.
It's so nice for me to see that these guys have always loved these things, or have grown fond of superheroes and anime. And these used to be the nerd things that people used to look down upon.
I think that's why it's clicked with an audience also, because it comes from a
Representation
for it.
उनको.
But what's happened is that there are very less in the Hindi space that are looking at content all over and trying to do it not based on
Trends.
algorithm clicking and just because the movie was good. So, and you know, I also struggle. What happens is when a movie or a series is not getting enough traction, I have to market that video in such a way where it gets the click. Whether it be clubbing it with another movie, whether it be clubbing it with a particular news that's happened.
Yeah.
So that becomes really sort of sad for me. But
Yeah, but again, I mean, that is...
But you have to adapt to the system, dude. You cannot be that guy who's going to be a purist, who's going to be like, मैं यही करूँगा अगर 10,000 view आए. It doesn't make any sense. The videos that you're making should reach the audience.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people in the film industry, the purists who make these movie essay videos and all, they absolutely shit on the fact that, you know, that these young creators have come and are doing well.
Whereas this is the name of the game, you have to adapt.
Bro, like, you can't be in the system and then complain about it and be like, we're not getting growth here. You have to adapt.
हाँ, तो ये डिलेमा मेरा चल रहा था पिछले 1.5-2 साल से. तभी मैंने उसको थोड़ा पॉज करके पॉडकास्ट फोकस करना शुरू किया है कि थोड़ा दिमाग उधर चलेगी. Okay, what can work?
Yeah.
And then cater to that. But हाँ, you can't be...
You know, I feel like even Ranveer, no matter how much crap he gets, he was also in the last 2-3 years understanding ki kya karu. And you know, now he's really like hit the ball rolling with the podcast. But I remember at one point of time, I felt like he was doing everything just to, you know, get something.
I mean, commendable just for the sure fact that you got through that whole
got through that phase. Yeah.
2-3 saal ka phase. Because most people then just fade out and filter through the cracks and never see the light again.
And you're just a marketing specialist for a company then, and you're like, oh, you that guy.
Recently, I think I met someone who used to be a good popular creator. I was speaking to them online. When I was just trying to do what they were doing 5 years ago, it's not working, and they had some goodwill that they have a certain 2-4,000-5 लोगों का base that continues to watch them. But थोड़ा ऐसे existential crashes तो हो जाता होगा उस space में.
Dude, ho jata hai. And I keep on speaking to these marketing strategists now, who now ask for opinions and stuff before. So now there's this new... Now everything is about how do we create hype for a movie.
Yeah.
Okay? Whether the trailer or song is enough.
Because word of mouth doesn't work.
It works,
The time in here.
but to a percentage, it doesn't really work on a mass level. If the trailer and music clicks, the hype works in such a way where it'll get pushed. So I talk to these marketing strategists who are creating a science now where what is the first marketing snippet that you put out there for the public? So that...
Is it a poster? Is it a teaser?
So,
is it a song?
Yeah, so that it acts as a gauge of why they will be interested later. So people have now noticed that posters don't do shit. Okay?
I don't care about poster because there are fan posters that are better than the real posters.
Exactly. Bro, fan pages create the craziest edits. Bro, Jawan and Animal haven't come out, and Ranbir Kapoor, Shah Rukh Khan fan pages have created crazy videos.
I want to talk about Jawan before it comes out. But again, I didn't think Pathaan had any marketing.
Bro, he didn't do a single interview. He did Ask SRK. They did a teaser, trailer, 2 songs. That song becomes national news. You talk about it for a month where they're not even doing anything. You do all the marketing for them. They killed it, dude.
And the song was nice. मेरे को तो बहुत पसंद है पठान.
Bro, the most hooting happened when she did the reveal. It's all...
In fact, वो जो पठान तो end में आता है ना. हाँ, मेरठ में देखी मैंने पठान.
Look, must dance then, dude.
It was good to see that.
Even though, I remember seeing Jhume Jo Pathaan and I'm like, this is such a TikTok song. Huh? But when I saw it in the theater, I was like...
मजा आ गया. मेरे फोन में पड़ी होंगे वीडियो. वो जब मूवी खत्म हो गई, आधे लोग निकल चुके, आधी जनता ऊपर से नीचे आई है सामने और वो नाच रहे हैं उस पे. तो सच...
Bro, then merit to the euphoria they created, yaar. You can't discount it.
Tiger 3 के लिए बहुत excited हूँ मैं. But हाँ जी, Jawan.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hype is around the movie. I want to genuinely understand why is there hype around that movie.
So...
Is it Atlee? Is it Shah Rukh Khan? Is it just the fact कि पठान इतनी चल गई है तो जवान के लिए बहुत excitement है? But there was excitement for Jawan pre-Pathaan also.
Yeah, so it's a mixture of a lot of those things that you just said. One thing is what Hindi film creators have realized is that their collaborations with Telugu and Tamil directors work really well.
Yeah.
Especially if they have a commercial sensibility. So you see a Shahid collaborate with Sandeep Reddy Vanga, it hits the ball rolling even in the Telugu audience. So what's crazy is that a Kabir Singh, a movie whose original source material, Arjun Reddy, has been seen by the Andhra Pradesh, Telangana people, had the most advanced booking for Kabir Singh. Okay? That's how much they love their creators. So, you look at a movie like Shamshera, okay, which is Siddharth Malhotra with Vishnu Vardhan, okay? He's also another creator who has a loyal fan base, but you realize that they have a sense of storytelling with commercial sensibilities where they'll prop up the star like he is with the fan following that they have, but they'll still cater to the story, which is a balance that I feel like only Rohit Shetty probably has with the Singham universe and very few creators have in the Hindi space. Atlee is one of the few Tamil commercial directors who worked with Talapati Vijay, who's one of their biggest stars, and created these massive films, and a lot of people remember it just for those set pieces that he created with them. Okay. He did a movie called Theri, he did a movie called Marcel, he did a movie called Bigil. Okay, these are 3 movies that he's made with Talapati Vijay. Huge commercial successes. A lot of them from a storyline perspective have not been like entirely amazing, but they have loved the packaging of the star that he did within those stories. And so whoever is well versed with Tamil cinema and Shah Rukh Khan fans who've seen Atlee's work, they're just excited about the prospect of how he'll be presenting.
Shah Rukh, the biggest, arguably the biggest.
The biggest, And Siddharth Anand did it momentarily with Hrithik in War, you know, that tricep itself, like people be like, what the hell is going on?
मैंने War देखी थी. I mean, I saw it in the UK in a quarterly, मतलब quarter filled था स्टेडियम का, उसका थिएटर का, and वो जो entry scene है वो.
So you know those kind of set pieces, those entry scenes, the build up of someone's gonna come, Tamil directors do it really well, and Atlee is one of them. So I feel like people are really excited about that prospect, and it has a bunch of actors from all over.
Oh yeah,
which really interests a lot of people.
हाँ, जवान के बजट के बारे में कोई बात नहीं कर रहा है, which is
no one's talking about it. And I feel like one of the also exciting parts is that Anirudh is doing the music. So Anirudh is a guy who did Vikram's soundtrack. He's basically known for the best mass background scores. So whenever an action set piece has an exhilarating tone, he's the guy. So he's very, very popular. And I feel like it's a combination of a lot of these things. And it's the real pan-Indian collaboration if you're looking at it. Now everybody wants to do a pan-Indian film, but this is actually curating talent from everywhere and being like, okay, we're going to make this spectacle. I think it's going to open huge. It's going to be insane. And again, he's not going to do any interviews. He's going to do Ask SRK, trailer, song.
Movie is out, go watch it. 200 crore, J1.
No reels, nothing, dude. Do whatever.
And उसके बाद फिर Tiger versus, Tiger 3.
Tiger 3 will come.
Hype शुरू हो जाएगी. Then Dunki is coming. Dunki is coming when next year?
Dunki will be next year. Yeah. But again, Rajkumar Hirani is like the most...
Again, then he has Rajkumar Hirani.
You know, some films are just irrespective of the talent, you'll see their film. So Hirani, S.S. Rajamouli, Nolan, Spielberg, Scorsese.
Oh, I'm very excited for Oppenheimer.
Dude, Oppenheimer and Barbie, that's the big debate. No? Which one are you going for?
एक के बाद एक.
Yeah.
पहले थिएटर 4 में सेलेक्ट किया Oppenheimer, उसके बाद राइट वाले में Barbie दोबारा से. It's a good thing to be a movie buff, movie fan.
Bro, it's exciting.
There's something new, exciting comes around every time.
You know, that's like been my biggest fear of like while we were doing content. Is there ever going to be a time where people won't watch movies? I don't think there'll ever be a time. So, you know.
I mean, if they don't go to theaters, they'll watch it on the screen.
Yeah. And that's what I feared the most when we were talking about personality channels. There's going to be a point where you're like, fuck this guy. You know, I don't want to see this guy anymore.
Yeah, but I'll continue to see this guy if he makes sense and is talking about things that I'm mildly interested in.
Yeah.
That combination has to be there. Sirf personality pe to kaam nahi chal payega. Like, you can't just be entertaining.
Are you doing Instagram Reels?
I do. So there's an Instagram reel format that I kind of like, which is just make informative stuff.
Okay.
Something that I genuinely find interesting, I will make a reel about it. It might do 150,000 views, it might do 15-20,000 views. But if I find it interesting, I will present it in a manner that is interesting to someone else as well.
But you won't do a trending song?
No, I won't do it
as a vlog or something, right?
No, so I think, I've done these.
No, I saw a Wes Anderson one.
Oh, so that I did because I went with my girlfriend, वो जाके उसको बनानी थी एक reel MG के साथ collaboration में. तो हम लगे ठीक है, तू बना रही है, तू मेरा शूट कर रही है, मैं तेरा शूट कर देता हूँ. तो वहाँ जाके हमने मस्त वो बनाया. वो एंड तो जिस सुपरमार्केट हम गए थे गुड़गांव के, वो था भी इतना एस्थेटिक सा कि मेरा मन कर गया ये बना लेते हैं. सो वेस एंडरसन वाज नाइस. जैसे मैं ट्रैवल के व्लॉग जो डालता हूँ, मैं फ़ोन लेता हूँ अपना, यही फ़ोन सिनेमैटिक मोड में 4-5 सुंदर वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करो, 3 सेकंड का कंपाइलेशन बनाओ, डाल दो. तो दैट इज द ट्रैवल. इंस्टाग्राम बीच में ना, व्हेन इंस्टाग्राम रील्स वाज डूइंग वेरी वेल, एवरीवन वाज ग्रोइंग अप ऑन रील्स, आई आल्सो स्टार्टेड टेकिंग इट वेरी स्ट्रेसफुली कि यार रील बनाना है, रोज का कुछ करना है. तो ये जय डूइंग ब्यूटीफुली ऑन रील्स, तो उसका थोड़ा ऐसे फॉलो अप होता था, टिपिंग ऑफ कि मेरे को भी कर लेना चाहिए कुछ ना कुछ. तो फिर थोड़ा स्ट्रेस नहीं लगा मैं उसका. देन आई स्टॉप डूइंग इट एंटायरली, टुक अ ब्रेक फॉर अ कपल ऑफ मंथ्स एंड रियलाइज इंस्टाग्राम इज द फन प्लेटफॉर्म यार. यूट्यूब पे काम होता है, इंस्टाग्राम पे तो फन होना चाहिए.
सेम.
तो फिर मैं जब इंस्टाग्राम पे जो फन कंटेंट होता है मैं वो बना के डालता हूँ. अभी उसके बियॉन्ड मैं रील्स नहीं करता हूँ. फॉर एग्जांपल आई वाज ट्रैवलिंग, तो 4-5 इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ें हुई मेरे साथ इस ट्रिप पे, मैंने उनके लिए रील्स बना दी.
You said ना foreign currency something's a fraud or something you mean?
या सो भी मैं यहाँ पे दिल्ली से मैंने करेंसी एक्सचेंज कराया, तो मेरे को नोट दिया, वो बंद हो चुका है वहाँ पे. तो मेरे साथ जब वो एक्सपीरियंस हुआ, मैं कॉफ़ी ले रहा हूँ, उसने कहा कि यार ये तो नोट खराब हो गया है, नहीं चलता. और उसके लिटरली साइड में क्रेडिट स्विच था, या तो बराबर जाके चेंज करा लो. दिस इज अ गुड इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग दैट इज हैपनिंग विद मी, लेट्स ट्राई एंड डॉक्यूमेंट.
No, that's good.
तो ऐसी 5-6 चीज़ें और हैं, वो आज मैं एडिट करके शेड्यूल कर दूंगा, तो हो गया रील का काम. So that is how I'm treating it.
No, Reels is fun. I also use Instagram just for fun. Yeah.
So that is probably the only place in your videos जहाँ पे आपकी शक्ल दिख पाती है.
शक्ल दिख पाती है, interviews में दिखती है, और वो भी that's the only way I show it. Or sometimes if I do a really cringe episode, then I'll do it at the end.
Yeah.
But Instagram is just like chill, yaar. I've got a few editors under me. I just ideate with them. They do it.
Go भेज दो. I mean, you should have these platforms. Instagram has always been, in my opinion, the fun platform. And अब जब से ये these platforms have also started deprioritizing shorts as the next big thing. Instagram stopped its fund. YouTube has just put shorts पे ads. उससे आपका इतना revenue नहीं आने वाला कि घर चल जाए.
भाई कुछ ही नहीं है. It's a little scary on how little it is. But
I had a video with 10 million views and 100 rupees in revenue.
I saw
my podcast channel total पे 10 million views नहीं है.
Dude, but I'm saying, like, you know, you can do 6 million views in a month and make a great living, okay?
You can get 6 million views in a day on a short and you will still have nothing.
I was seeing Charlie only post about this, of his YouTube Shorts earnings. And it was like, I think he did 42 million views and he got like $14 or something.
वो तो फिर भी अच्छा revenue है. यहाँ पे तो वो भी.
चलो वो North America का है ना.
यहाँ तो वो भी नहीं है. So again, so when I've been seeing the same thing for the last 2 years when short form became popular. I've always been on the opinion that short form is not going to become the next big thing because short form attention span लोग इतना कम है, वो connect ही नहीं कर सकते.
नहीं होता यार. You know what we did? Me and Anupama Chopra for the podcast were doing Instagram. No one gave a fuck because everyone was like, ये लंबा video यहाँ क्यों?
Exactly.
The moment we started doing the podcast on YouTube, everyone watching it.
Obviously.
So it just no. The long form format, YouTube is the best.
YouTube is the best. Even Spotify for that matter.
Spotify, right? Yeah.
Spotify for that matter.
Do you watch Joe Rogan videos there?
I do.
Yeah.
On the TV.
Oh, okay.
On the TV. तो मेरा क्या है ना, ये मेरे को लोग वैसे बहुत गाली देते हैं.
Spotify on TV. Okay.
Spotify on TV.
Okay.
तो लोग मेरे को गाली देते हैं कि मैंने Apple TV क्यों खरीदा. ये 20,000 रुपए का आपने सेट टॉप बॉक्स क्यों ले रखा है, ये किसी काम का आता नहीं है. But the best thing about this is that I can just plug my AirPods in, roam around the entire house, and वो चलता रहेगा, किसी और को आवाज़ नहीं आएगी और मेरे को आराम से सब कुछ आ सकता है. So I just play whatever I want, put my AirPods on. Like for example, if I'm cleaning or if I'm doing some mundane work, कुछ खाना वाना बना रहा हूँ, कुछ ऐसे बेसिक काम कर रहा हूँ, तो AirPods लगाओ, बस घूमते फिरो, किसी को शोर नहीं आएगा, काम बढ़िया चलता रहेगा. So I watch Joe Rogan on this. In fact, mostly stuff I watch on this.
I miss him on YouTube though, yaar. I remember when he
puts up clips
sometimes, like.
But again, वो long form YouTube पे तो हटा ही दिया उन्होंने. Spotify ने पैसे दे दिए हैं.
100 million, yeah. You can't say no to it.
हाँ, but if they don't renew it, for 200 million, he's much better off going back to YouTube and getting 10 times more views.
Bro, I remember the big highlight was he did a Kanye interview and it had like 10 million views on day one. And I was like, this is a 3-hour video. Imagine the ad rates on that.
Yeah, so imagine the ad rates on that. But वो ये जो लोग उनको देखते देखते हमारे यहाँ भी बहुत सारे podcasters हो गए that are trying to so they're not trying to replicate Joe Rogan because it's difficult to do. You actually have to have an interest in the person that is speaking. They're trying to replicate the Andrew Schulz formula.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, I for a second thought Andrew Tate.
नहीं Andrew Tate नहीं.
वो भी हो रहा है थोड़ा.
But Andrew Schulz formula is something that I've seen become popular.
But dude, ये लोग, someone I was watching and they're like, oh my god, dude, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
And I was like, these are just Bandra boys.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like some foreigner or something. And I was like, I love Lays. Oh, Blue Lays is the best. And I'm like, yeah, real है.
So, इनका वो है ना, so reels पे बहुत चलता है ना. I'm so glad I started a second channel for the podcast clips, because had I done it on this channel, I would have lost all love for my podcast. That separate channel exists solely because I know it will get views.
But you know what I've realized is Instagram में अगर आप ये ऐसे वाले reel में कुछ topic छिड़को ना, it's the best because सब लड़ रहे होते हैं.
Yeah. So
बस सब लड़ रहे होते हैं.
Happened with the last podcast. So I was traveling. मैंने अपने मेरा editor जो है podcast का, उसने snippet बना के डाल दिया, YouTube पे डाला, उसपे 3 घंटे में 1000 views आए, 30 second short. Instagram पे that was I think around something about Surat businessman.
Okay.
Because the guest was from Surat, उसने कुछ तो बोला. And that video, उसने मेरे को उसको डालने के आधे घंटे बाद बोला, यार तो बहुत बढ़िया चल रहा है, 10,000 15,000 व्यूज़ हो गए. मैंने कहा तो बढ़िया है, हमारे पॉडकास्ट पे इतने फॉलोअर्स हैं नहीं. मैंने अगले दिन उसको चेक किया है, वहाँ पे 3-4 घंटे के टाइम उसके बाद उसके सुबह 2 मिलियन व्यूज़ थे. नीचे कमेंट्स में सिर्फ लोग लड़े जा रहे हैं. like
सब businessmen ऐसे नहीं होते.
yeah, सब businessmen ऐसे नहीं होते, गुजरात ये है, सूरत ये है, वगैरह वगैरह. And I was very
Bro, like I'll tell you, Noida का अगर तूने snippet गलती से डाल दिया ना भाई, Noida भाई.
मैं डालूंगा, collab request भेजता हूँ.
Noida.
मजा आएगा.
Noida is the biggest metropolitan Delhi NCR region. ऐसे कुछ होगा.
तो इसीलिए मैं बहुत खुश हूँ कि मैं पॉडकास्ट का जो क्लिप्स शॉर्ट्स डालता हूँ उसके लिए एक सेपरेट चैनल.
So you know, like I see people almost deliberately doing it. So I saw some guy from Delhi talking about the problems in Bangalore, and just the Bangaloreans lost it. They were like, "Screw you! Don't enter. Don't come over here." So I was like,
It's very fascinating for me कि long form podcast काफी सारे short form के चक्कर में चल रहे हैं. Which is, I don't know, it's a very big dilemma that I have. But at least I don't have to cater to that audience on this channel.
you either, because Instagram Reels, I've realized, either it's a inflammatory clip on a state or a certain section of people, or it's dating and same on shorts, right? Dating or about a certain sex.
बीच में they were very ऐसे Joe Rogan के clips, Joe Rogan style, very intense with intense music in the background. पर उनका भी time चला गया है.
With the motivation music playing. So that was when your chai wala was really popular, no?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, क्यों नहीं कर रहे तुम कुछ? And I was like, bro.
See again, so something that has always subconsciously stuck out is कि ये waves तो आते जाते रहेंगे. The moment you attach yourself to even a single wave, you limit your potential to that one wave.
You know what I also love though is there is a sense of exhaustion with the motivation crap also. So I remember seeing those videos and people having hearts and fire emojis in the comments, and now people are just like, "Bas yaar."
How वो है ना.
So now there are podcasts which are sort of ironically talking about it. I'll wake up at 5:55. I wake up at 5.
I love those kind of reels on Instagram. But your short form, I think it's a good way to have compilation
है ना?
shorts, because at least nostalgia के चक्कर में या फिर just discoverability perspective से तो ये experiment मैं reels पे कर चुका हूँ. Whenever I now make a video of top 3 movies that you need to see and give a 30 word का snippet about that movie, that reel will work.
Yeah.
Regardless of what I'm saying, because people will save it whether they want to watch it in the future or not, and वो चलेगा. ऐसे मैंने experiment के लिए एक वो बनाई थी reel. 2 things that you should not watch on YouTube. वो don't के चक्कर में लोगों ने सेव कर लिया उस रील पे हैं अब 7-8 लाख व्यूज. तो ये चीज़ें तो चली जाती है शॉर्ट फॉर्म में. But I think long form is the game.
Yeah, man, long form is the game. Yeah, easy.
And it's fun to do, right?
It's fun to do. It's engaging also, and then it's interesting. Yeah, this short form content sometimes I get blown away by like 25 million views on a skit about Karol Bug, and I was just like, each to their own. Yeah, they have their own success formula as well. Yeah,
so there are some creators that are very good with this.
You know who I love? Dharna.
Just thinking of
dude. She is so good.
I'm gonna hopefully have her on the podcast very soon.
So good. And it is so on point. Bro, she sits in an actual kirtan where the aunties are around and she's doing the dialogue.
You have to. मैं अभी नील को मैसेज करता हूँ कि get me in touch with Dharna so that I can have her on the podcast now.
So good, dude. That
yeah, so there are outliers like that.
Yeah.
Who have mastered the craft, and then there are outliers who will just not outliers, the beard child that will get.
You know what I feel the worst for is when our batch of influencers who have sort of become a bit jaded hop on the trend and then do it in a half-ass manner. Yeah, that's where I
doesn't work.
They're just trying to be like, I'm cool too.
I think just that desire to be cool and relevant is what brings you down. Cool and relevant, आप मतलब organically.
आप ये मत डालना, but ये वो उसके लिए मुझे सबसे ज़्यादा लगता है. हाँ. बहुत ज़्यादा attempt है पर होता ही नहीं है. Anyway.
No, I made a video on her a while back. I'll mute out the name. I made a video on her, I think a couple of years ago, and on Prajakta as well. And I'm so glad that I was so on point with the prediction that I made then. But हाँ, वो हो जाता है यार. You have to adapt and you have to have a USP, right? So that is the example that you gave with the personality-based content.
But you know what's worse for me is when they double down. When you know your strength, which was your page, is not getting enough engagement.
And she's doubled down.
But you double down by going for these PR award shows. You're taking awards as being an influencer of the year, personality of the year. It's like, this means nothing.
Few names keep coming up again and again. And the only consistent pattern amongst those names is that these were good at certain point. And then they did exactly that. They doubled down on what was not working. ट्विटर पे आपको चलो अब तो ठीक है, अगर आपको रेलेवेंट रहना है तो आपको ब्लू टिक ले लेना चाहिए या फिर अपनी वेरिफिकेशन करना
या
चाहिए.
ब्लू टिक ले लें क्या?
I took it.
ले लें.
I own it. And see, so the problem with, I am even gonna do the Instagram wala whenever that becomes relevant. See, it is only not relevant or not काम का when you do not have a following.
That's the funniest. I sometimes think, oh, who is this person who's given me this gali with the tick? And it's like,
So if you have a following, if it is an organic following, so then that opinion makes sense. Someone who does not have a following, उनके लिए Twitter Blue लेके कुछ फायदा नहीं है.
I do understand one of my colleagues, guy who's in the same industry, he got a blue tick on Twitter because people started mimicking him. So when the reviews would come out, one letter would be removed,
And that's the same.
and they've said that this is his review, and it has thousands of retweets. So he's like, I had to take it.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
So Twitter Blue, actually, I think Twitter Blue is for someone who is a creator on Twitter or a creator in general. Twitter Blue is a good investment. 7,000 रुपये आप साल के दे रहे हो, आप उसमें इतना पैसा नेटफ्लिक्स में भी खर्चते हो. आप if you are living the influencer life, आपका एक डिनर पे लंच पे इतना पैसा खर्च हो जाता है. It gives me access to longer tweets. I know the algorithm will prioritize me over other creators who do not have a blue tick. So that makes sense. And I am actually happy that the relevance of a blue tick got reduced because Elon Musk is like, लाओ पैसे दो.
He just wants to make it like profitable in some way or the other.
That is fine, but any person that now has a blue tick,
yeah,
जो हाई हेडेडनेस होती थी कि मेरे पास ब्लू टिक है तुम्हारे पास नहीं है, इंस्टाग्राम पे तो होती है ना अभी भी. वो हाई हेडेडनेस खत्म हो गई ना. A new status symbol will now come out, of course.
Yeah,
but जब तक वो नहीं आता तब तक तो बढ़िया है ना. मेरे को बड़ा.
But you know, I feel like I buy it and they're like, खरीद लिया तूने, ऐसे दिन आ गए. It's like,
see, you can justify it by saying कि now I want to do longer one tweet movie reviews.
That's true.
So you can justify it in any way you want.
Those longer tweets help, यार. In some cases, those characters are so less.
100%. मैं Twitter threads दिखता था बीच में. Around whenever I wanted to write about something. Now I just go to drafts and keep adding into that tweet. जब मेरे को लगेगा कि हाँ complete हो गया तो उसको post कर दो. I think Twitter is a great platform for gathering an audience which is passionate about a particular topic or a particular genre. There are a lot of trolls, there is a lot of negativity there. उसको आपको actively avoid करना पड़ेगा. Then it's a great platform.
Twitter, I like Twitter because it has a very loyal audience from other states. So I get a lot of information from them of updates and what's happening.
Also, Twitter has now become better in the sense that I think last time when we were talking या फिर किसी से बात कर रहा था, एक ट्रेंड चलता था रोज रात को ट्विटर पे, Justice for SSR, which was a bot trend, which was just bots doing whatever drama they wanted to do. That kind of stuff has reduced now. तो उस चक्कर में Twitter has become a slightly better platform.
Bro, but I still see paid tweets, yaar. I still see
paid tweets giving to on normal people. तो आप paid.
No, that too. But like trends run by PR campaigns, sometimes they, because I'm mostly in the fan war space.
Probably.
So they have Mr. Versatile actor और उसमें 1500 ट्वीट है.
अभी कुछ तो हो रहा था, शाहरुख खान वर्सेस विराट कोहली का कुछ तो चल रहा था ट्विटर.
But you know that but what happens is that it becomes ugly, yaar. It becomes really ugly.
So the only way to do it is not pay attention to the replies. Mute notifications. मैं भी नोटिस कर रहा था आपके फोन पे इंस्टाग्राम ट्विटर वगैरह के नोटिफिकेशन आ रहे हैं, मेरे फोन पे कोई नोटिफिकेशन
अच्छा नहीं है.
That is one way to stay away from this. Turn off notifications. जब आपको नोटिफिकेशन नहीं आएगा तो आपकी ऐप नहीं खुलेगी.
Twitter, I've realized I use for news a lot. In terms of especially movie announcements and all of that stuff, it really helps. But जितनी गालियाँ मुझे ट्विटर पे पड़ती है ना, उतनी कहीं नहीं पड़ती. ऐसी
ट्विटर पे आसान है. नहीं मेरे को नहीं पड़ती है तो मैं वो अगर मुझे लगता है कि ये ट्वीट अब थोड़ा चलने लगा है, मैं उसके नोटिफिकेशन ऑफ कर देता हूँ.
हाँ, मैं कभी ब्लॉक नहीं करता.
ब्लॉक नहीं करना चाहिए
कभी.
See, blocking someone gives them the satisfaction.
Always. कभी ब्लॉक नहीं.
इसीलिए म्यूट करो, इंस्टाग्राम पे रेस्ट्रिक्ट करो.
And you know what I get sometimes when I have a controversial video, guys would comment saying, why have you deleted my comment? I never delete a comment. Whenever it filters highly inappropriate or something.
वो settings set कर रखा है.
I think the worst thing like an influencer can do is delete comments.
You should not delete comments. You should. So I've done something on Instagram which I think is a great feature. So I have limited comments to only the people that I follow and the people that follow me.
Okay.
So which means that if you are not following me, you will not be able to leave a comment. So even if you want to abuse, मैं सुनने को तैयार हूँ पर तुम्हें एफर्ट करना पड़ेगा, आगे फॉलो करो. तब कम से कम उसने इतनी मेहनत करी होगी कि मैं जाके फॉलो करके फिर गाली देता हूँ. then I will listen to your opinion.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
ये 2-4 features I think social media के use कर लेने चाहिए जब उन्होंने बना रखे हैं इतने अच्छे से तो. But I think at this point we can wrap. It's been close to 2.5 hours now.
Yes.
I had a lot of fun. Unless you have any parting thoughts.
All good. No, always good to catch up with you, even if it's after 3 years. But we should hang out more often. I didn't place that you were literally 20 minutes away from my house. So yeah, no, always a pleasure.
Thank you for taking out the time. मैं इसको recording को